Grand Rising, everybody. I hope everybody is doing as great as I am today. Put a one in the chat if you guys can hear me. I want to make sure that you guys are able to hear me this morning. We are going to start with a couple of scriptures this morning, child, okay? And then we are going to get into some very tough conversations. And I have a lot to say. I really do. Believe me. What's up, beautiful Bernice and Queen Divine? I appreciate both of you for being in the building. My opinion, I appreciate you, sis, for being in the building as well. And thank y'all for letting me know that y'all can hear me this morning. We're going to start in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1. If you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all his commands I give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations on the earth. Okay? This is a scripture that's been going back and forth in my spirit over the past couple of years, right? As the Lord has been moving through the community and has been moving through the world and doing the various things that he's been doing. See, what he's been saying to us is for us to become obedient to him. That doesn't always mean, stop your smoking, stop your drinking, stop your fuck shit, right? Don't always mean all these things that we put on ourselves, all these stressful things that we put on ourselves. It just means listening to him, okay? And sometimes that means falling back, going away, and just hearing from God. Okay, so that you can have clear judgment when you're out here dealing with what you got to deal with, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Okay, let's get into 2 Corinthians before we get into our Bombay timer, because shout out to Dr. Bombay. I got a little time today, y'all, and I'm gonna spend some time with the sector this morning and tell you guys my thoughts on some things. And I'm going to play some timers for you guys, some of our old school timers and stuff like that. And, just spend some time with y'all, letting y'all know what my opinions are of these things that have been happening these past couple years, right? And why the sector has taken the changes that is taken, in my opinion. And what the future of the sector is, in my opinion. And let's go ahead and get into this. So we're going to do 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 10. And I want you guys to hear this clearly, what the Lord is saying this morning. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each of us may receive what is due us. Huh? Hear that. So that each of us may receive what is due us for the things done while in the body, whether good or evil. In this scripture, he doesn't say he's bringing judgment down upon you if you have to exact evil. He's bringing judgment down upon you if you have to exact good. No, what he said clearly to the body of Christ, Hebrews, what he said was, for we all must appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each of us may receive what is due us. That is you and me, individually, for what things we have done while amongst the Hebrews, while amongst the family, while amongst the community, whether good or evil. See, you'll be judged for the good and for the evil. Meaning, whatever you do, you must do it in righteousness. You understand? Sometimes, because we're humans and because we live on earth with other humans, we might need to use a little bit of evil. But you got to be in the right space right? You got to be in the right frame of mind if you need to do that. Okay? So that is why I first read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. That's why I first read that. Because it says, if you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all of his commands I give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations on earth. So never feel bad, right? If in righteousness you gotta slay a bitch's fucking head off. Do you understand? Never feel bad about that. Always know when you are walking in righteousness and when it's okay to slay the head of a demon. Do you understand? This is what the Lord put on my heart today to say to you before I get into the conversation. The first thing I'm going to do is play a little timer, and then I'm going to get into you guys' comments and say hello to everybody. And then we're going to get into some conversations, some things, some topics, some things that I'm thinking, some stuff that I would like to share with you guys in regards to my thoughts on the sector and the things that have been happening around here. And I'll be the first to tell you, I have been to every single one of you's channels. I've listened to everybody. I have no fear in my heart of telling everybody where I have been. I have been and listened to Kit. I have been and listened to Triggs. I think all of y'all know that. I've been on his panel. I've been and listened to D. Darrell. I've been on his panel. Shout out to the Godfather. I've been and I've listened to Photon, and I've been in his chat. And I'm going to let y'all know what my thoughts are on everything you guys have been saying. I heard all of you. I heard Speakeasy. I heard Chad T. I've heard everybody give their opinions. And now I'd like to give mine. And I'm asking y'all for the grace that I gave you. I listened to you. I heard your opinion. And I heard it without judgment. And now I'm going to give mine. And I'm asking for the same grace from you. Let's get into it, guys. Shout out to Dr. Bombay. That was my first timer in Black Lounge. That was probably from like 5 or 6 years ago. And that was a really cool timer. I really liked it, how jazzy it was. It was the exact same theme that I was looking for. And, you know, he really hit the nail on the head with that. There was another one that he had too that was a longer timer. And I got to find that one. But I know I have it. I just have to find it. But shout out to him for producing that. You know, even as far as he's come with the technology and the things he's doing now with the AI and stuff like that, I could imagine what that timer would have looked like nowadays if he made it with AI or something along those lines. But yeah, let's get into the comments because I appreciate all of y'all for being in the building. Make sure you guys do hit the like button on the way in. Teresa, definitely appreciate you, sister, for being in the building. The beautiful Bernice and Queen Divine, definitely appreciate you as well. I appreciate y'all letting me know y'all can hear me. Demu, I appreciate you being in the building as well, and thank you for being in the clouds. Triggs, definitely appreciate you for being in the building as well. Shout out to you, bro. And Beautiful, I appreciate you for being in the building as well. P, the panel killer, definitely appreciate you. P, drop your link in the chat because you are having a live, I believe, tonight. And everybody can go over there and check P out because I believe it's going to be a great show. He is also going to be speaking. It's going to be a P Speaks, and he's going to give his opinion. I love P's opinions. He's always given some great ones. And again, make sure, I think Triggs is now taking the show down, but the show that Triggs did the other night was also great. There was a lot of things that I heard him say and I agree with. And we're going to talk about those things today. There was some other things that were said that I'm going to talk about as well. But we're definitely going to get into these topics today. Looks like everybody's just kind of speaking to each other. Okay, let's see. Oh, LV, appreciate you for being in the building as well. Dr. Bombay, I appreciate you for being in the building. Yeah, I need that other timer, man. You remember that one with the long, drawn-out song, and you was like, yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. And then the other one is Black Lounge Entertainment. I don't know where that's. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. And KKC, definitely appreciate you for being in the building and also being an inspiration to a part of this discussion today as well. There's some things we're going to talk about. And like I said, I'm going to get into it in just a second. All right, guys. So let me get over to my little notes here. I'm going to take the comments off first. And then y'all can go ahead and, go ahead and comment away in the comments. Y'all, as y'all know, in the sector, we have a history of this where the comments are oftentimes a different show, right? So we have one show going on the panel. We'd be having another show going on in the comment section, and, it's understandable with the temperature of the sector right now and how things have been going and why, the temperature would be so high and, tensions are high. And I'm definitely going to discuss those things. Like I said, I can't speak for everybody. I definitely can't do that, but I can definitely speak for myself. And I can tell you guys how these situations have affected me and why I have been silent, right? First of all, part of that silence was these two things that I just told you, right? Which is with in Deuteronomy and also in 2 Corinthians and other parts of the Bible too, Isaiah 65 and other places as well that I've been concentrating on and I've been spending a lot of time in, and why I have been very silent around a lot of topics around here. But today I'm going to speak on some things. I'm going to let these things out, and my Lord is my shepherd. And so that's where we're going to go with this. But I'm going to go ahead and light this bud, okay, while we talking about my God, because, he made this for you and for me, okay? Now, anybody who wants to do, your thing, y'all go ahead and do that. But listen, it is 9 o'clock in the morning, okay? Please don't be doing no crazy shit, okay? We ain't got time to be drinking and doing all that stuff this early in the morning. I know it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but it ain't 5 o'clock in the United States, okay? So please don't be pouring nothing up or none of that. I know Divine and them, they probably got a little 5 o'clock Brixton. Some of y'all, I think y'all closer to it over there. But it's still morning time over here, okay? I don't need no drunkards over here today, okay? But please go ahead and light up, your weed and, just leave your Shango sticks at home and, we're going to go from there. Let's talk, speaking of Shango sticks, about Lene, okay? I definitely want to get into this chick today. I don't want to talk a lot about Lene Stacks, aka Siobhan Stone, aka the throat goat, the woman who Umar, she's been everywhere and then every other place and every planet and every moon on Jupiter discussing this man, right? And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because it does kind of tie into our little space over here. Even though she doesn't necessarily tie into our space, her bullshit does, okay? And I want to talk about that because it kind of stems into what we're going to discuss regarding our sector today, okay? And how I feel about that. So her obsession with Umar Johnson, to me, is just absolutely toxic and sad. Okay. I think there's a lot going on with her. At first, when I was listening to her, I had went over to her channel, and I was listening to her. I wanted to have some sort of empathy for this woman, right? I did at first really think about it because, not all of y'all know. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all know by now. If y'all didn't know, let me tell you, okay? I am not an Umar Johnson supporter. I have never been. So, Lene, I know probably going to send you a link to this video. Let me tell you now, I am not an Umar Johnson supporter, okay? I have never been. I've never been involved with him in any way. I am very much involved in the community here in Delaware. However, I have never seen Umar Johnson involved in any of it. Okay, I was just telling somebody about that the other day. I just did an Easter egg hunt last weekend, and there was one scheduled for this weekend. We didn't do it because of the rain and stuff and how the fields were wet by the time it was time for it. So we rescheduled it for this next weekend coming. Okay, but I've got a Western party I'm doing this weekend, so I probably won't be at the Easter egg hunt this weekend. However, I am very much involved in the community, and not a near time is Umar Johnson ever come out here that I have seen in the city of Wilmington and done anything for these kids. Okay, I'm talking like we've done bike giveaways, we've done book bag drives, we've done, you name it, we do it. Food giveaways, all kinds, clothing giveaways, all kinds of stuff. And I have never seen him involved in any of it. So, Lene, I am not an Umar Johnson supporter, okay? I don't fuck with that dude. I live right here in Delaware, and no, he is not doing anything that I support, okay? Now, when it comes to the school, I don't really have much to say about it, okay? I don't necessarily have an issue with the school idea. And as long as he's, keeping up with shit on the school, I don't really care about it either. I also, if people are donating to Umar Johnson and they feel like they want to send their hard-earned money to this dude, they have the right to do that. Okay. What I'm not about to do is be policing people's bank accounts and policing people's bills and what they decide to pay every year. You understand? I don't have no time or energy for that. That, however, doesn't mean that I support him. Okay. And I also can call out other people's bullshit. Just because I don't like him doesn't mean I can't call out other people's shit, okay? I.e., for instance, Lennon Honor. I've been calling out Lennon Honor for 5 years, okay? I.e., now you, okay? I.e., anti-Afro Svengali. I have come after people who have given Umar, crazy problems when it wasn't necessary, okay? So I want you, Lene, to understand that, because I know you're going to get a copy of this video. It'll probably be spliced and diced like this dumb bitch always does, but it's okay. I'm telling you now how I feel about Umar and how I don't have a problem calling you niggas out on your bullshit, even if I don't like Umar. Okay, so let's make that clear. The second thing I want to make clear is I have never had a sexual relationship with that man. I never would. I'm not interested in him. He's not my type. And I don't know why you did. Okay, but if you did, that's on your coochie. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But I'm letting you know that's not my thing. Okay, because I know that's your first go-to when people tell you about yourself about Umar, that everybody wants to sleep with him. No, that was just you. Okay, that was your fish tank. That had nothing to do with me. Okay, but I'm letting you know, no, I'm not interested. What I do think is you need to get help, because you've been getting on this internet here, this Beyonce internet here, at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 2 a.m., you're up in the middle of the night, and you're not talking about yourself, you're not talking about your kids, you're not talking about any positivity, you're not talking about this new dude who Shango you sucking in Miami, you're not talking about any of that. You're talking about Umar Johnson. And ma'am, you're not telling us anything we don't already know. We know he ain't shit, okay? We know that people shouldn't be donating to him, but people decide to, okay? We know that he probably may or may not open the school, right? Everything you're saying, we already heard, okay? We've heard people accuse him of being a pedo. We've heard people accuse him of all kinds, with no proof, by the way. You understand? We've heard all of the stories you're pushing. You are not telling us nothing new. The only thing new that you have told us is that you are added to the list of bitches who have sucked his dick. That is the only thing you're telling us. Okay? And we don't care. We don't care. Like, we literally don't care. Just like we don't care that you have a fish tank or not, right? We don't know if you do. We heard Umar say it. That don't mean it's true, right? Because Umar lies, okay? I mean, in my opinion, he does, okay? But that doesn't mean he's telling a lie on that either, right? The thing is, we don't care either way. If you can give us something, Lene, that would be new, then maybe you would get some play. But it's the fact that you're not, and it's also the fact that you're trying to stand up for nonsense, right? Like, we all know that we don't even have to discuss it on this channel. We already know that Marianne Lorian is a fucking liar. Okay, that's just what it is. The check was not real. Okay, it never was, and it just is what it is. Do I think Lennon should have most definitely, did his vetting on that? Absolutely. Okay, and he didn't. Whatever, it's not the end of the world. If his audience is okay with that, I don't really care. Okay, but at the end of the day, we all know this bitch was lying. And we know you knew this bitch was lying. And you keep trying to find ways to, like, finagle your way into standing up for her. So I'm going to tell you what I saw when I saw that, Lene. Okay? When I saw that behavior with you and Marianne, and I saw who were moderators in y'all chats, who was emailing y'all and all this stuff, I said, child, listen. Anti-Afro Svengali, it did not surprise me at all that suddenly this was becoming a thing, right? And that's because, and I'm going to give you a little bit of tea, Lene, okay? That's because Anti is looking for a new AFW crew, okay? She's trying to replace some of the people that are over here, with the bullshit, with some new people over there. Okay, because she knows she can't take any of these people, the Stargates, the Photons, the Kip. She can't take none of them over there with her. Okay, now Kip she might be able to take, but she can't really take them over there because it's not going to have the same impact over there because they don't care about any of this bullshit. They don't care about Triggs. They don't care about Dedarel. They don't care about none of that shit, okay? So they're not going to give a fuck over there in that side of the Umar sector that you're in. You understand? See, Anti has a problem with Lennon Honor because Lennon Honor took her fucking mod stick. She had no issue with the Cookie Crush chat, no issue with Lennon until Lennon took her mod stick for her being a rogue moderator over there, okay? Blocking people that she got a problem with, blocking people that wouldn't do her dirty work for her, okay? Her dirty work, okay? Because people like you is who she looks for. She looks for people who love to feel like a victim, okay? Who always are victimized. They're up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. They're up at 6 o'clock crying to the sector about all the pain that has been exacted upon them by this person. This is what her demons are fed by, okay? And so when you jump out here with this story, you attract these type of people. And this is exactly who you attracted. Because literally, that's what she does. She attaches herself to people who are constant victims so that they can do the nasty work that she wants them to do. She does it in such a manipulative way, right? She also uses money. She uses love bombing, everything that cults use to reel people in order for them to do her bidding. Okay? And I just wanted you to understand what you're getting into. I'm not telling you not to. I'm not telling you not to involve yourself with her. I'm just letting you know that everybody who involves themselves with her, right, at some point, they end up in a really fucked up predicament. Okay? I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Now, You can go back through my videos. You can ask anybody in this sector. When I have said things about people and about situations, I have given warnings to people about things and told people about some things. It always comes to pass. Every time. Every time. Everything I've said, I'll be scaring myself sometimes. I'll be like, dang, I said that shit like 2 years ago. Oh, I said that shit like 3 years ago, right? Every time. It always happens. I'm not no special person or nothing. I'm just a child of God. And I'm just letting you know that you going down the wrong path. You're welcome to keep going. But honey, it's always led to a path of destruction. Every time people deal with that woman. And it just is what it is. You know? And that's unfortunate for you because I don't think you recognize it. And she has a way of hiding it, right? And disguising it enough that the people that are warning you and telling you look crazy for telling you. But please just know that you've been warned. Okay? And, it's unfortunate what you'll have to see. But what I advise is that you seek professional help over this. Because I think this is deeper than what you're wanting to even say to yourself. And I get it, right? When you've got a bunch of trolls and other people with opinions and all kinds of stuff, on the internet telling you what they think, and you have unhealed trauma, and you're bringing that unhealed trauma to a space of people who don't care about your unhealed trauma, you're adding further trauma to the unhealed trauma. What you need to do is take that and go and get that healed, get help for that. That's not a dig at you. That's not a disrespect. Honey, I ain't got no problem taking my ass to somebody's counselor, okay? And having a conversation about me, okay? And what my thoughts are and getting that shit clear, okay? That's what it is. Sometimes we need that. There's nothing wrong with that. But coming here to this space to get that clarity, baby, you're in the wrong space, especially when you're dealing with other people who have unhealed trauma. You understand this trauma bonding that the anti-fraud warrior LLC likes to do? It's toxic, right? And it's not productive. So I know you want us to have this thought and this idea, Lene, that you are this productive person, this great woman with these great ideas, and you probably are. I don't know, right? Sometimes we get caught up in fucked up situations, right? As productive, good people. And sometimes you need somebody to shake the room and let you know, like, hey, this ain't the way. But you're welcome to do this if you want to, But don't say you haven't been told. So that's my thoughts on you. And, I don't really have much else on it, but you need to know that she loves to attach herself to your type. Okay? And I say your type because right now you're in a space of unhealed trauma. Whatever that trauma is, I don't know what it is. It could be Lumar, I don't know, right? Whatever it is. But you're in that space, and that is the reason why this is a continuous cycle, and it's going to keep being a cycle until you get off the cycle. And nobody, none of them, not an anti, nobody is going to help you get off that cycle but you and the Lord. Okay? So anyway, that's my thoughts on her. And let me take a look at your comments real quick. I see everybody is, hey, Miss Murph and RNT Entertainment. What's up, Mind Chaos Brew? Appreciate you being in the building. Appreciate you, RNT and Mrs. Murph. Let's see, everybody else. Okay. You said, why folks want to force people to care about their nonsense? I agree, right? It's just kind of crazy, right? And you riding dirty Triggs? Oh no! We definitely gonna get into those comments, okay? You said he was thirsty, child. Don't make no sense. You said, Mrs. Murph, you said, isn't that crazy? I'm just saying, it really is. It's just really sick here. You said, no Stargate. Oh, we're going to talk about Stargate. We're going to talk about Stargate, believe me. And I'm no joke. I appreciate you being in the building. You said, I'm going to that new sector and create Smoke Gang 2.0. No, no. You said, good morning, Sound Bowie and P, Miss Murph, Mind Chaos, and I'm no joke. Okay, everybody's saying hi to each other. D Darrell, the Godfather. I appreciate you being in the building. Shout out to you, bro. Okay, you said hi, D. You said, does she have any unbroken or self-esteem folks following her play? High self-esteem folks following her play. And that's the thing. People who are unbroken and who have high self-esteem really don't have much time for it, right? Like, I can only listen to her but for so long. I can't sit there and shout out to the new sector. I want to say this to Rum and to Money Boy Trey. They doing their thing over there. They have their own core audience for that information. I'm not interested in talking about her all day, every day. But I support them guys, right? I like what they're doing as content creators. I like how they have built a family around them. And that's even what Lennon has done. Even though I don't agree with Lennon, that's what his audience is about, right? So the thing about her is she's trying to build, like you're saying, Miss Murph, she's trying to build an audience around unbroken and high self-esteem people, not understanding that we don't have an interest in that. Because we can hear it right off the top that you're very broken. We can hear it right off the top that your self-esteem is obviously had, a couple of hits or two, right? So nobody has time for that if you're not willing to hear or listen. If you just want to lash out at everybody for telling you the truth, nobody's going to sit around listening to that, So yeah, she can't. There's no way she has that. Because nobody who's in that state of mind is going to stick around for that long enough, which is going to get into what we're going to talk about today, okay? You said, good morning, Charlie. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure you guys got to see each other's comments as well. You said she should start a Umar support group. Okay. I'm just saying, right? You said he used her until he used her up. Okay. It don't make no sense that she's still discussing it though. Yeah. So when I say the news sector, I'm no joke. I don't actually mean to say that. Because they've been around for a while. They've been around just as long as any of us. They know all the storylines with Umar. They know all the conscious, they know everything. They know just as much as we do outside of what we know on this side. So when the Lennon thing happened and people started breaking off from him, people kind of went into their own little groups, right? And there was different times and different time frames when that happened. And so those people come from him. They come from over there as we've come from over there, right? We just developed our own space here and we started, with our own storylines over here where they kind of have the same thing, but they, are now discussing Umar again and discussing, this thing with Lene because that thing has come up and the Marianne thing has come up. So that's kind of what's going on with them. They're not new per se. They just are new to us. They're new to who we are and what we're doing over here. They don't know anything about this. And we didn't know anything about what they were doing. But there's a lot of people that I recognize over there, like Southern Nappiness is over there. People from the Lennon Honor crew that don't fuck with him as much as they used to are over there. That's who those people are. So yeah, you said she got mad because I asked her what was broken in her, right? And it's clear to us that there's something broken in this woman, right? There's no way if you are healed from something that you're still up in the middle of the night thinking about it and talking about it and going live and you're repeating yourself over and over again. It's not like you're telling us something new. You keep repeating the same thing. His mother's in danger. His mother, like, girl, if his mom's in danger, why didn't you call the people while you was there? That's my biggest question for that, right? That shuts that whole thing down. Why didn't you call the people while you were there? Right? How did you stay in that crib so long and you didn't clean up anything, but you got time to talk about how filthy it was and this and God, he needs dicks and he needs fingers in his ass and all these things you have time to tell us. You know what I mean? For a man, you claim you don't give any shits about. Like, no woman is doing that. No woman who doesn't care about a man that she's no longer interested in, that she's no longer sleeping with, is talking about him in any way, shape, form, or fashion. As a matter of fact, she tries to avoid conversations about him. That's what women do. That's what healed women do, right? We're not sitting there, continuing to go on and on and on, and then mad at you because you calling out the truth. Mad at you because you're showing the truth. Women have, healed women also have strong intuition. We can see through the bullshit, okay? Especially some of us as Tauruses and all that shit. We can see through the bullshit, okay? So, yeah, we need you to, get out here and get your shit together and stop crying. Like, real shit. But anyway, let's get into another topic, because I see the Godfather is in here. And I want to talk a little bit about that. So the Godfather, D. Durrell, does return. And he seemed to have a lot to say. Shout out to him. I was able to get up on the panel and have a conversation. I see he went live again last night, but I was sleep, child. I be needing my sleep at night. I did stay up that night because and I knew it was late, but I had to stay up and talk to D. Durrell. I haven't talked to him in a while, so I wanted to make sure that I got up there, made sure he was good, and he sounded like he was in great spirits. Everything sounded great, so I'm really happy to hear that. It's funny because, even though he didn't speak on the case, obviously, because, it's still an open investigation going on, but he did let us know that, there was a couple of things that have been misconstrued about him and this situation, right? First of all, everybody is an attorney and everybody knows the law better than the judge that's working on the case, right? According to this sector, these people know this shit way more than him, right? So, okay, that's one thing. I think we all understand, who the rejects are when it comes to that kind of stuff. But okay, the next thing is the whole idea that he's destitute and he's no longer working as a mental health professional and all this other stuff. D. Durrell is definitely still working as a mental health professional, okay? Everything seems to be good on his end. He is not living out of his car, or, getting in the soup line and, doing all that, okay? D. Durrell is doing okay, y'all. I know that there are people who absolutely hate D. Durrell, okay? They hate him. They hate him, okay? But, and y'all entitled to whatever y'all think and feel. But at the end of the day, I think most people in the sector, even if you can't stand the guy, you don't really want to see him in prison for 90 years and all the other things that these people are literally with binoculars waiting for, with sealed documents, right, that they're providing to, the sector to look at, which I find crazy that these people have access to shit that the public would not generally have access to, like this whole sealed document that was sealed the same day. So it's not like, it was there long enough, even if y'all were watching Pacer for some weird reason, right? I don't know why you would be watching Pacer if there's nothing to prompt you to think that there's any type of case going on, right? But the same day that the case comes out, the sealed document gets up there and you guys have a copy of it, right? My God, today, JJ and Photon, listen, guys, I need y'all to just, find a hobby. Y'all got to find something to do, okay? Because that right there is serious, okay? And I can't say, what's going to happen because I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. You know what I mean? I don't work for the, the district attorney's office. I don't do any of these things. I don't have access to such documents because it would have had to be something like that, right? In order to have access to it and have knowledge of it. Okay? But okay, who am I? But you know what, child? Listen, y'all go ahead and do y'all. But like I said in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10, for we must all appear, all appear before Christ and the judgment seat, so that each one may receive what is due for what he has done in the body, whether good or evil. And always have a righteous reason for everything you do. Always check your intentions at the door. And you'll never go wrong, right? So if you can sleep with yourself at night and the decisions that you made, right? Then okay. But if you got to be up explaining to us why you're making these decisions and whether or not you might get in caught up in something and trying to help us understand it, that doesn't spell peace to me. So just remember that. But shout out to the Godfather. He is doing well and excellent out here. And may the Lord continue to bless that man right in front of his enemies. See, God said also, he will make your enemy your footstool. Amen. Let's move on, church. We're going to get into some other things right now because I'm about to get into a very hot topic. But before I do, I want to play a timer for you guys. I think we need a quick little break from this before I get into the next topic. So I got a lot to say. What's up, Remix? I appreciate you being in the building. You said it was unsealed. It was unsealed. Okay. You said what they showed was sealed. It was sealed, Darrell. Yeah. You said just stupid. You said shout out to breaking the law for content strategy. Good luck with that. Okay, just say it. You said Photon is watching and we'll do a live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I don't really give a shit. Like for real. If they're triggered and bothered by what I have to say, I don't know if I've ever been a person in this sector that gave a fuck what you niggas thought, right? So, ain't nothing changed. You understand? Ain't nothing changed. I don't give a shit, okay? But I'm going to say a lot today. And there might be some things that are not, that people don't agree with. But I don't know if I really care about that. I need to be obedient, say what I think. You said, I appreciate that, T-Pre. No problem, Darrell. That's how I really feel, too, And these people, they got to do something. I don't know. But they better check 2 Corinthians while they smoking that blood. Okay, that's what I be doing. All right, y'all. Let's get into another quick timer. Again, shout out to Bombay. But we are going to get into it, guys. Let me see if I can find one. Let's see. This one's funny.
Yeah, it was 12:15. Exact. If I'm not mistaken, it was 12.
Now you see something? Now you see now. You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
See what I'm saying?
I thought.
No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
The more questions that cop asks, the more I thought I wasn't gonna never see daylight again.
This time you said you bought the bottle.
I was just waiting for them to tell me they seen that damn videotape, but they hadn't.
Yeah,
No, you done fucked up, don't you? No, you don't. No, you done fucked up.
Without the tape, they had nothing.
Yo, that is gonna go down in history as one of the funniest timers in the sector. I just have to say that's one of my funniest ones, and yeah, that's hilarious. Anyway, shout out to P because he actually did inspire that timer. 'Cause that's one of his timers. I had to steal that shit because that's actually one of my favorite movies. Is Menace to Society, and you know how serious I thought it was when I first saw it as a teenager, and now when I watch it, it's just hilarious. Okay, especially if you're smoking a blunt while watching it, that shit is fucking hilarious. Okay. But anyway, shout out to y'all. I appreciate all of y'all and everybody for coming out and laughing and shit with me. All right, listen. Let's get into this next topic because it's actually a little bit more serious. Okay. And I want to start off by saying this. Now, I did hear what Triggs said the other day about YM. Okay. Advising Kip, or over there in his chat room, advising Kip on what, you know, Triggs is doing and whether or not, you know, Triggs is 10 steps ahead of him and so forth and so on. And I will tell y'all, as disappointed as I was in that, I was not surprised at it. I wasn't surprised. YM and I have a history. Although we have called a bit of a truce over the past couple of years, and there hasn't been much back and forth between her and I as it used to be. But YM and me used to go back and forth all the time. As a matter of fact, I remember YM from back when I was hanging out with the good guys. That's how long I have seen her around here. Okay. It's to the point where I didn't even know whether she was a man at one time. Okay, that's how long YM and I go back. And some of the long, drawn out battles I've had with her, right? One of the things that stood out to me about this situation, and I have to rip the band-aid off YM. I'm gonna talk about this today. One of the things that stood out to me about you back then was no matter what we said, right? Because let's talk about the good guys and Flacco and TC and D Darrell and all the people, right? The Speaky, everybody that was hanging out together at one time. Even though we did not all always 100% agree on everything, what we were able to do on that side was have an opinion, right? Without judgment and without anybody like trying to dox you or trying to, you know, or anything like that. We had that. No matter how much they want to make it seem like this is what the good guys were doing. Okay, I know they want everybody to believe that shit. But the truth is, everybody was able to have their own actual opinion on this side of the sector, right? And you didn't have to worry about if you gave a different opinion that you would now be ostracized by the group. They would dox you, they would call your family, they would try to get your job taken. You didn't have to worry about that with these people. Even if you disagreed with them, you might have even got into an argument with them. You didn't have to worry about that. And that's why I fucked with them, right? Even though I don't like Umar Johnson. But I could fuck with them because I can have a discussion with them without that, without all that nonsense. You understand? So, when all of that was going on, you know, like I said in the beginning of this conversation, I've always been level-headed when it comes to Umar Johnson. Even if Umar is wrong, I can call out other people when they're wrong. So I can call out Lynn and Honor. I can call out, you know, other people when they're wrong, even if they're saying something about Umar, right? Because I don't have a cult-like mentality. I don't just follow the leader on everything. I don't just follow one person, and because, you know, we have to have a uniform mentality about things, which is another thing I'm going to bring up in a little bit, guys. We get into the handmaidens and the women of the sector, okay? But I don't have a cult-like mentality, okay? So I don't have to follow after, you know, one person, and just because they're saying one thing about my enemy, now I gotta go with everything you say. No, if you wrong, I'm gonna tell you wrong. You might be right on this point, you might be right on this point, but right here you wrong, and I can tell you that, and I can tell you that in front of other people too. And if you don't like it, you just don't, but I'm still gonna tell you, right? This has been my thing with YM from the beginning. Not all this stuff that's happened, and we're going to get in a little bit in a second about things that have happened even after this, what I'm talking about, and why I'm not surprised. Because from the beginning, I have had conversations with YM about Umar and Lennon, where I know I was saying something that was like profoundly easy to see as a flaw in Lennon, but because it was Lennon saying it, and because it was about Umar Johnson, and because I was on a side of history of people they don't like, right? She didn't like. Because of that, I was treated a certain way. At least that's my opinion of it. Now, whether she has a different opinion is up to her. But that's my opinion of what happened between me and her from the rip. Even though I'm not an Umar Johnson supporter, and I don't know how many times I had to tell her that. But it didn't matter. So after that whole thing blew up and everybody was, we were kind of done talking about Umar over there, and it was content creator versus content creator, and we were coming at each other and everybody was going. Me and her still had this rift, and the rift was still there because of the side I took, the stance I took. At least, again, this is my opinion. And because of that, I've always felt like a target of YM. And so I made her a target. So she did snippets about me on her community wall, linking me in things I had nothing to do with, involving me in stuff I wasn't involved with, taking stances about me that I wasn't involved with. And so I started taking stances on her, on things she was involved with, saying things about her and pulling up evidence and proof of it. How many times she was saying, I got videos that are still for public viewing to this day of things I have said and pointed out about YM's bullshit. And her inability to not be unbiased in situations with people that she just favors. Now, she's entitled to whoever she favors, right? She is. See, that's never been my problem with YM. My problem with YM is, and has been, when you don't move in the direction of the people that she favors. She does these subtle attacks and then acts like she's innocent in the situation. She'll come back to the sector like she's just innocent in the situation. She can't believe this. And see, the problem with the sector is when not enough people are going through the same thing, right, with somebody, it's easy to get shit past people, right? It's easy for people to overlook shit when they're not going through it themselves. That's why YM has been able to fly under the radar for years. But there's people like me and slander God, shout out to him, that have always spoken on her. Triggs, we've always sounded the alarm on YM. Just nobody's scared of her, right? So nobody really makes a big deal out of it. We just talk our shit to her. But these are facts. But we've all been around each other so long, right? And y'all know me. I don't hold on to shit. We've been around each other so long. And some of us don't hold on to anything that we actually forget about the shit that we've experienced with some of the things we've experienced with each other until somebody else experiences it. And then it all comes flooding the fuck back. So I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed because I have called a truce with her. Because once I started to get to know her as a content creator and not just a chatter, I actually like her. I actually like her content. She's very much like, she reminds me a lot of my oldest daughter. They have a lot in common as far as the arts, as far as content creation. They have the same spirit. I wouldn't be surprised if YM was a Pisces, or at least a similar house, or a similar astrology, because they have a lot in common. And I don't dislike you either, right? I want that to be clear. But I'm disappointed in what happened because, and you may be just misunderstood, right? Could be that. But if you are, which a lot of us women are, the reason why is because of who you align with. Generally and oftentimes, if you are in a misunderstood position, right, YM, it's because of who you have aligned with. Because those people are not honest people. The JJs, the Kips, they're just not honest people. See, they question why the sector, right? Not so much JJ, but I haven't heard him question this. But I've heard Kip question this. Why the sector is always questioning him? Why every time he bring up something, everybody, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Right? When you present things a certain way to people, you only get that one time to do it. Once you've shown me that you're a fucking rat, and all you do is slave catcher type shit, I don't give a fuck what you're telling me. I'm not going to believe anything you say, even if what you're telling me is the truth. And see, that's the reason why you got to check your intentions at the door, right? You got to check how you're moving. Because if you moving in unrighteousness, whether good or evil, if you're moving in unrighteousness, though, see, that's the difference. If you're moving without the direction of the Spirit, this is the result of that. People don't fuck with you. Literally. People don't believe you. And that's nobody's fault but your own, Kip. Nobody's fault but your own. But back to YM. That is why some people feel the way that they do. Some people are disappointed. some people feel you can't be trusted. I said that about you like 4 or 5 years ago, behind the scenes, to a couple of people. You can't be trusted. And they were swearing up and down. Swearing up and down that you are a trustworthy individual. And I was like, no. No, 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 no. Like I said, I ain't nobody special. But trust me and believe me, I be in the spirit a lot. I be in prayer a lot. And I be seeing you bitches. I be seeing y'all. Tighten up your circle, people. Anyway, I did say that. So, that's not a stab at you or anything. Because like I said, you might be just misunderstood. Right? I've been misunderstood a lot in life. A whole lot. By a lot of people. People I wouldn't even imagine would have misunderstood me. But people did. When you stand out and when you're different, that happens. But take that and let that roll off your back, but be a lesson. You know? Be careful with the company you keep and the people you be around, the people you surround yourself with. Because you might end up getting popped in the process, right? Of the wrath coming their way. And because you in the way, and you not tucked away like the Lord told you to do, right? You not tucked away in the spirit, and you're not tucked away in prayer, and you're not vigilant and being a watcher like you've been called to do in these last days, right? Because of that, and I'm talking to your spirit, YM, because I know you're different. When you're not doing that, you get caught in the crossfire. So get out the way. Only get in the way when you're told to. But this ain't your fight. Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. I want to talk about what's happened with Triggs, what's going on with the sector. Everybody that I listened to and heard last night and yesterday, the day before, and I listened to everybody. I went over to even Kip's fucking show. And I'm gonna tell you, I can't stand that dude. He sound like the worst, craziest, slave catching, down south ass fuck nigga I have ever met in my entire fucking life. And he's almost the age. He's like maybe like 15 years younger than my father. Like, like when my dad was like 15 years old, this dude was born. Like, this is how old this man is. Okay, because my dad was like almost 30 when they gave birth to me. My parents were older, so they weren't in their 20s. They weren't in their young 20s. So Kip is old enough to be my dad, right? Somewhere around there. I don't know how old this nigga is. I know he's close to being 60 years old. Okay, but maybe he ain't old enough to be my dad, but he's old enough to be uncle, okay? Either way, this man is in his 60s with this behavior, with multiple grandchildren, with children that are older than my children. And all of my kids, with the exception of my 17-year-old, are grown. And I have one grandchild. We have established that. There's one grandbaby, right? And she's alive and well, and shout out to her. She's 2 years old. She's doing great, guys. The family is doing great too. But we're going to get into my thoughts on this. I got a lot to say. I listened to it. I slept on it. I prayed about it. And now I want to talk about it. I'm going to tell y'all what I think about all of it. But let's get into this with a timer real quick. Let's find one. This one reminds me of something Triggs did. No, no. So Gates and Eddie are fighting now? Child, this is hilarious. Y'all send me a link. You know I'll play this shit. I don't even give a fuck. We got time today, honey, okay? You said they were trying too hard to make those disagreements a storyline back then, right? I'm just saying. Like, it was wild how they were trying to make that like it was really a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it was just crazy. He said Gates and Eddie are fighting. Child, that's crazy, right? I really want to see that shit. I gotta see that. You said I could have said a lot more, but didn't. And you know what? It's okay, right? You know, you said enough, and you know, you said what you were required to say, and I think you said enough, right? For now. And if it's time to say more later, then it will be. But you know, I got a lot to say today. You said YM was with the AFWs in 2018. I have always thought, and listen, some of y'all have jumped on my case about saying that there's certain people that I have always thought were down with the AFWs. And as soon as you say that, you're like, oh my God, why would you? And it's like, bro, we were on the other side of history with this. We have watched people come at us directly over this shit. Okay, we have watched this happen. We are like historians to this shit because we've literally sat on this side of the aisle and watched people jump from that side of the aisle talking they shit on their behalf, not necessarily anti-Afro herself. See, that's why this is the part y'all need to separate, right? Some people did. Some people tried to, defend anti herself. But it was the AFW movement itself. This is a movement. It wasn't just one person. Now it's down to two derelicts, right? Maybe a couple dumb, people. But before it was a movement of people, okay? And they were all in one unity against Umar Johnson. And that's what they did. They had this unity, and it had this uniform look, and everybody had to have a certain way of thinking and a certain way of talking. And if you deviated from that in any way, they had mods ready to block people, mods ready to, Shout out to KKC. Now I can talk about it because we on Black Lounge now. Let's go. Okay? I'm so proud of you for getting rid of Black Anonymous. I've been wanting to tell you for years that bitch is a fucking snake. You understand? But I never did. Why? Because it's your channel. But I'm gonna tell you, I've been knowing it. Me, D. Darrell, TC, Stefan, we know about Black Anonymous. Shout out to LV, because it was LV that broke the story. I think it was LV. It was either LV. Yeah, it was LV. Broke the story. It was Black Anonymous that put all of us in this blog, right? She put all of us in this blog. I don't know where the blog is now. I think she's taken it down. But all of us were in this blog. And she had said, she had our pictures and everything in there, our names, everything, our actual names and everything, saying that we were part of Umar Johnson's pull-up team, that we were going after Anti and Rev G and William Clay and all the other people that were talking their shit about Umar at the time, and that Umar was saying, you know, it's time to pull up on these people. And when he said that, Black Anonymous took it upon herself to say that we were the people that he was saying that we're going to do this. I don't even like Umar Johnson. Like, y'all know, and the entire team this whole time has always known I don't like Umar Johnson. D. Darrell and them, I used to sit on their panels all the time. They knew I did not like Umar Johnson. They knew it. Okay, so for this dusty bitch to be out here putting out this type of information, right, this type of dangerous information, I'm not surprised at all that she would go rogue in your chat. I'm not surprised at all that she still fucks with Anti and them, because she always been fucking with them. Always. She's one of the rogue ones. Black Anonymous has always been this way, but you had to see it for yourself, and I'm glad that you did. And shout out to you for taking a stance against her publicly and letting her know about her shit, because she deserved every bit of what she did. Every bit of that. She be on some bullshit, and she been on that shit for years. But yeah. So there are other people. I'm not going to name any more names today publicly. Right? But there are other people too who are right here in this, probably right here listening. Shout out to y'all. Hey y'all. Probably listening. That have always been a part of that movement. Okay? So y'all got to watch people's movements and the things that they do, the things that they say, and the patterns that they follow. Right? And you'll be able to see right through it. Sometimes, like I said, you got to tuck away and you got to go up in the tower. You got to look out the window when you're in war. You got to look out the window and see what you got, what's going on, what you up against. And you'll see all the fucking snakes in the grass. You understand? You set up high with the Lord in prayer, and you'll see all the snakes in the grass. Anyway, so yeah, you said that explains a lot for me, Darrell. I'm sure it does. You said Chat Lives Matter is a weirdo. Okay. You said pissy trustworthy. The man wanted to call the attorney general on a child in need. Child. You said, what did YM do? I missed it. Well, you'll have to go back and listen. You said they'll wake up one day and, hey, Pre, hey, what's up, Slander? You said, hey, the Slander. You said, laughing my ass off. You said, what's up, Pre? Hey, Brixton, appreciate you being in the building. He's 72. And I'm 58. You just gonna add 10 years to my shit? I will be 48 on the 24th. So shout out to me. My birthday is this month. And I will be 48 years old, y'all. Wow, look at me though. I still look good though. I still look good, honey. You said, Pre, what timer did I do that you needed? Oh, is this the one I got right now? Hold on, let me see. I think you already. No, I think I've just played it. Hold on, let me see it. Let me see. I don't think this is the one though. There was two of them you did. The one that had the long drawn out song. And then let me see. first one. That was the first one right there. But then there was another one you did that says Black Mountain Entertainment, and the time is right with T Pre. That one. You gave me the gospel song. You gave me some other one, but that's the one I wanted. The one with the Black Clouds in it tamed that one. So yeah. So if you can find that, that would be so cool because I will definitely play that shit. Because everybody been asking for it. You want my email? Okay. It is, hold on, I got it on a banner. Let me see. Okay, here it is. So it's TanishaLynnPrice@gmail.com. Y'all can send it there. Okay. So anyway, let me go ahead. You said facts. Absolutely. You said she was third in command. Right. You said, wow, good riddance. You said, hey, y'all. You said, I was here. I just didn't hear what it was in reference to. I'm at work trying to get your money. And you do me like this? Okay, so I'm going to say this. I'm not saying she did anything to me, per se, on this conversation, right? I would rather you hear that again if you'll go back and just redball it. Because you're able to redball, and you also can just go back when the show is over and listen to it. 'Cause I really don't want to just repeat it. But I understand what you're saying. And yeah, you need to be getting my money, okay? Oh, check my email. Okay, I got you. Girl, y'all know I be slow up here. That's why I need to, That's why I need to, That's why I need to, Okay. All right, hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. We got a little exclusive. Hold on, y'all. Matter of fact, let me play a quick timer for y'all. I'm gonna play another one while we get this together. Thank you, Robbie. I do appreciate that, and I got it, girl. We about to play it in just a second. I just want to talk about these comments. So LV, exactly, right? And a lot of people who are on that email list hate to be on that email list, right? But there's a lot of people on that list, and it's funny because Black Anonymous, right? She was the one that put y'all on blast to begin with. She was the one that posted all y'all names in a list, a nice little list of people who were on that list of people, right? Every single one of those people, and it would be funny if we could find the blog, because every one of those people should go and take a look, like Lene and people like this. They need to go and take a look at that list. And how many of those people have now fallen out with Anti and Rev and all these people all these people that have been doxxed by them, that have been, through the mill with Anti and these people. And then you see for yourself whether or not we're making any of this shit up, right? It's funny how they documented their own shit. For all of y'all to see. So now, Lene, there would be no excuse now. Now you'll be able to see all of it. Okay? And it just is what it is. You say, yeah, the first one was too long. Yeah, remember we had talked about that particular video. I liked it, right? But we wanted a shorter one. And so we did this one. And then we did the Black Lounge Entertainment, and It's Time Is Right with T-Pre. And then, and that became famous. Everybody wanted that shit, right? So that's the one I'm looking for. I think it has this same background, but it's just got that song or something. I don't remember, but it was something like that. But you remember, it was somebody who had sang the song for you. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. You'll find it. You said, I thought I resent it to you. I'll look again later. I sent what I had to the Black Lounge box. Okay, I'll take a look for it. Binary Code. I've been looking for you to go live and give your commentary on this. And I find it funny with you, right? I know you though. I mean, I've known you for so long that I'm not shocked, I'm not shocked. But at the same time, I hope you're doing well. But I've known you for so long that you're almost, predictable to me, right? So I knew you would never, you would never touch this story, right? I mean, I knew you weren't. Now, you were touching the story when you thought it was a hot thing, and you thought, the AFWs really had something here, and, and everything, and you might even still think that. But what you can't do is deny that Kip didn't show up to that, that meetup when he had the opportunity to show and tell the way he's been talking, right? He can't spin that. So I found that funny that you didn't go live and discuss that, right? Even though I get it. You're binary, right? Like, I don't necessarily expect you to, to do these things, but I was kind of being sarcastic in the chat when I said that to you. But when you said, yeah, you're gonna go live, like I wasn't really expecting you to go live. But shout out to you for being in here. Even though I know you are the spin master, but it is what it is. Ciao, okay. You said, I think I posted that blog in the Good Guy documentary. You did. As a matter of fact, you did. Yep. And that video is still up. I don't know if one of the mods can put a link to that in the chat so people can see for themselves. You said, has LV went on record with a statement freeing Triggs? I mean, he is the only one in the sector Triggs camped up for. He can let the truth be known. Oh, I did go live just on my members. And I took my membership from you, motherfucker. Okay, so I mean, I did have a membership until you told me to kick rocks. Okay, now I did hear that you did apologize the next day, But by then I had already said fuck you and your membership, and but we still cool, we cool, but I ain't about to give you my money. Plus I gotta give Rev G my money. Okay, so the money I would give you for your membership, I'm giving it to Rev G. So you got to have a conversation with him because now I have paid for the highest tier membership. And it's funny because none of his friends are members except Anti. But listen, I ain't going to talk about his memberships. But shout out to Rev G and the non-content that us high tier members are getting. I do like being a high tier member of yours. So, but it just is what it is. I mean, hey, I just like trolling him a little bit. But yeah, I have the highest tier membership. So Binary, you're going to have to fight with him about that. Okay. It just is what it is at this point. I'm sorry. Okay. But yeah, you said Binary, my statement is on members only. 820 tier. Oh my God, y'all, it's hilarious in here today. You said Binary never supports me, only kicks me when I'm down. That's why I like him, right? That's why you gotta fuck with him. Like, it's hard to not fuck with Binary. Like, you can be mad at Binary, and trust me, I have been pissed with Binary. I have cussed Binary out. I have sent Binary on to the gods, right? All of that shit. But over the years, you kind of get used to people, and like I said, y'all know I don't really hold on to grudges and shit like that anyway. I just move on with shit. But yeah, Binary is one of them people that do that. And every now and then, I will get down there and just, put my foot on that nigga's neck real quick, and talk a little shit. But, it's cool. It really ain't really about nothing. You said, okay, that's the Good Guys documentary. Thank you for pulling that up, Seven. I appreciate that, Queen Seven. You said, sorry, Tiggs, I'm not malicious. Oh dang, not got a Rev G member. Yes, of course. I gotta support the pastor, I gotta support the sector chaplain, right? I'm all into the word and the Bible and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So I gotta, I gotta give back. I gotta give back. So, that's my way of, support. So anywho, maybe that'll help, him with his legal fees that he was supposed to pay for from years ago, right? Maybe, now I'm gonna help him with that. Okay, so anywho. All right, y'all, let's get into this other topic here. Because like I said, I have a lot to say about this. And I thought that I thought the entire situation was crazy from the rip, right? And I'm going to use my own story as an example of why I'm coming from this point of view, because there tends to be this idea, and I don't know, and I want to make this clear. I don't know if this honestly is, for content purposes, right? Or if this really is a thought. I think some people really do have this thought though, okay? That us women in the sector, we all, and this has always kind of been a running storyline in the sector, right? That there's this behind the scenes monster who is running people's thoughts and ideas and opinions, and who is, and it's always a different monster depending on who's involved at the time. Years ago, it was Smoke God, right? Years ago, it was Smoke God was making all the women think a certain way, feel a certain way, behave a certain way. Then it was Binary at another time, right? Binary, I'm sure you remember that. That, you were in control of all these people's opinions and thoughts and things, and people were moving these ways because of what you were influencing, right? Now it's Triggs, right? Triggs is making all these women, think a certain way. Like, and I'm sick of that shit. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm really fucking tired of that, right? I'm tired of coming to a space where I just simply enjoy watching all of y'all. I simply am entertained by most of you most of the time, right? Where I want to laugh and like I said in the beginning of the show, sometimes there's a whole nother show going on in the chat. There's a conversation going on the panel. Sometimes it's a group of people on the panel talking, and sometimes it's a group of people in the chat talking. And it's a whole other show happening in the chat, right? I really enjoy just the camaraderie of hanging out with you guys in different spaces at different times, right? For different reasons. I also like to sometimes be in your clouds because I don't want to be an influence to the conversation. And so I'll sit there and listen and hear what may be happening. Sometimes, and most of the time, if I don't fuck with you like that, I'm most definitely not there or listening because I don't really care and I don't have an interest in the conversation. You know what I mean? So I'm not there. But yesterday and these past couple of days, I've been listening to everyone and I heard everybody without interruption, right? Meaning I went to your direct channel and listened to you. So Kip, you got another view from me. You know what I mean? Reb G, you got a view from me, right? Anti, as grueling as it was, I listened to you. Photon, as grueling as that shit was, I listened to you. But I also learned a lot from your show. So I want to talk about that. And then Triggs, of course, and I'm going to say of course, I listen to him too. Now, this is what I got to say. First of all, Kip, your behavior for the past couple of years is just absolutely inexcusable. It's just no excuse for it. It doesn't matter how you want to paint it, what you want to say. There is no excuse for you to have taken this to the level that you have. Now, are you human? Do you do things that humans would do? I don't know, right? All I know is that the way that you decided to handle this situation by going to probation and parole officers, by contacting police and so forth, is inexcusable. Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. Because some people might take that as me saying it's inexcusable to call the police. It is for me, right? Because I ain't no civilian, okay? So it is absolutely inexcusable for me to contact the police on you niggas. Now, is it inexcusable for you? Probably not, right? Depending on what the circumstances are and the situation. As a civilian, you are entitled to contact your local police if you feel like your life is in danger, if you feel like there's a reason to contact them, you've been stolen from, something is happening to your family members, somebody was R-worded, somebody was M-worded, something happened to somebody around you or with you or to you. It's very understandable. And that is what they're there for, right? That's what they should be for, is to protect and serve. Which is another story of why there's a level of people who don't call themselves civilians. Because we don't necessarily believe that that's what they're doing. But if you feel that that is what is appropriate for you, You're entitled to do that. What you're not entitled to do is to use such measures against people for no righteous reason. Right? See, we talked about 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10, right? Let me move this commentary real quick. Because I want it to be clear what I'm saying. We talked about 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 10, right? Where it talks about how we must all appear, right, before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one of us may receive what is due for what he has done in the body. What do you mean in the body, right? What does that mean in the body? Does that mean while alive? Does that mean in the flesh? It could, right? But it could also mean in the body of Christ, the children of Israel, the children of God, the people of God, which are you and me, which are all of us, right? If you want to talk about the 12 tribes and who we are, and you want to talk about what that entails, right? You want to talk about who's married into that and woven into that branch, as the Bible speaks of. And what would happen to those people that Deuteronomy told us about in Deuteronomy 28, where he said that we would be sent off into a foreign land, where we would be stripped of our identity, where we wouldn't know who we are until he wakes us and lets us know who we are. Right? Is that the body of people that 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 10 is talking of? What did you do with your brethren? What did you do in the body of Christ? What did you do with those people? Because for that and what you've done, you will receive what is due for what he has done in the body, whether good or evil. He didn't make it clear what was due, right? But he made it clear that you will receive what is due for what you have done in the body, whether good or evil. Pay attention to the words of the Lord. Because you always have to think about whether or not what you're doing is for good reason. So if you want to call police and cops and get them involved, you should really have a reason, right? And the only thing that this brother, Triggs, has done is ask you directly. Not once, not twice, but at least 3 times, which is what the Bible requests. 3 times he has asked you, what have I done that deserves this? He's come to you, he called you, and He asked you on a panel in front of a bunch of witnesses. He called you in front of a bunch of witnesses. And he called you again. He invited you without violence, without calling you out of your name, and he could have called you all types of bitches, because that's what you are. Excuse me, Lord, but you, okay? He could have called you all types of stuff. But he held a lot of restraint and showed you a lot of grace, especially considering what you and your friends have been up to, right? Not only just with this BS, but even trying to harm his family. See, that's where y'all crossed the line. See, that's what made me come outside, right? Because it feels so familiar. It feels so familiar. And I remember what I did. I remember what I did in response. And I did what I told you guys to do today. I got up in the tower and I looked down at the grass. And I saw where all the pawns were. I got quiet and I got with the Lord. And I let him show me where everything was. When you come for God's children, that includes any of you. You better have a reason. You better have a good one. Okay? A very good one. And it should involve you. Not anybody else. Not any other reason. But you directly. And the issue should come for and with that person directly. Not through somebody else. You understand? Let me make that clear, Kip. Because you can't use the excuse with me and everybody else that's been here this whole 2 or 3 years watching you crash out like an idiot, right? You cannot use the excuse that Triggs doxed your son or anybody in your family. You cannot use that excuse. I know you want to keep lying and saying that because that's what liars do, right? That's what liars do. I'm not even mad at you for being a liar. That's what you are. But you can't use that excuse on righteous people. Do you understand? You can't use that excuse on people that can see the snakes in the grass. You can't use that because we know already. We've been here. We've watched. We've seen. We know that this man has never doxed you or anybody in your family. And we know who did. And we know that you are sitting on the team of the person who did. All of us know it. Shout out to Gates again. Because Gates ain't the only one who has spoken on the snakes in your grass, Kip. And how you know who the snakes are in your grass. And how you've spoken on the snakes in your grass, right? And how your son's information about him being a convicted pedophile is here in the sector. Everybody knows. And you know too. So I know that you want to windmill at Triggs because you're so mad that you can't get to the people you want to get to. So you're using that as an excuse for your inexcusable behavior. But that doesn't work on praying people. And that's just what it is. That don't even work on non-praying people. Let me just keep it a fucking beam with you. That shit don't work on nobody. Okay? Unless you're that much of an idiot. Unless you're that much of a fool. Now, I know God looks out for babies and fools, but ain't none of y'all no fucking babies. So, what we doing here? Photon, what we doing here? I get it. I know you don't like Triggs. But this is beyond ridiculous. And I'm going to explain to you guys. Because shout out to y'all. I listened to y'all last night. I listened to Speakeasy. And the reason I didn't hit the panel is because y'all men were talking. And I knew I was going to do a show eventually. And I knew I would talk about it on my own show. But I'd like to tell you why the women of the sector didn't fight back at Triggs over what he said. Or at least I'm going to tell you why I didn't fight back at Triggs over what he said to Beautiful and to Teresa. And I'm going to give my honest opinion about what he said. I agree with him. I've always agreed with that opinion. This is why trolls are not allowed to run back and forth through my chat. They never have been. This is why if you keep start spamming my chat with the bullshit, I will knock you the fuck up out of here, right? Because I don't play that shit. I've always been that way in this space. I've never tolerated the bullshit. I've never tolerated the narratives and the drama and all that shit. I've never done that. I've always required receipts. Have I jumped out the window and talked shit about people without receipts? Yes. Way back in the day. But I require receipts around here. I don't let people just be saying whatever they want to say. And I especially require extra receipts from people who have not only tried to do these things to me and my family, but I also require extra receipts from people who have been known to be liars, right? Constantly lying and always having an agenda for why they're lying. Let's be real. Let's be real. Right? So, the reason why I didn't jump out and tell Triggs and stand up and speak for all the women and tell him and stand and put my stake down over this man's neck and tell him, how dare you tell the women where they're allowed to go and where they're not allowed to go? Because he didn't say that. He never told them they can't go over there. He didn't say that. Now, if he said that, this would be a very different conversation. Triggs knows me enough to know this would be a very different conversation had he said that. But that's not what he said. See, sometimes when you have an issue with somebody, right? And you're discussing a situation about that person, what you hear them say, you may have some bias to. But I can be neutral with this conversation. See, what he said was, y'all welcome to go wherever the fuck you want to go. You just not going to be in my space while you fucking with niggas like that. While you're doing that shit. While you're fucking with that police shit over there. With that slave catching shit over there. Which while you fucking with that, I don't know. Because I got to get up in the tower and I got to look down at my grass. And I got to see who's moving in this grass that ain't moving in my favor, because right now I'm at war with these slave catchers, with these fucking police ass motherfuckers. These motherfuckers are calling my daughter, my minor daughter. And you over here as my moderator, sitting in this person's chat room, kikiing more than anybody else in the sector. Of course, I'm going to personally call that out. And if you fuck with me, because you're doing it publicly, if you fuck with me, then you're gonna fuck with me publicly correcting it. Because right now, I gotta correct this shit. Because these motherfuckers are fucking with my children. See, I felt that. Because it happened to me. So that is the reason why I didn't have a problem with what Triggs said. And let me tell you something. I think I could speak for Teresa and for Beautiful. That is why they didn't have a problem with what he said. Now, I could be wrong. Teresa and Beautiful, you're both welcome to correct me on that. But I would think, as mothers, as grandparents, as women of God first, I would think this would be their first thought. And what we're witnessing happened to a man who simply roasted your ass. Because that's what this comes down to. Because y'all are not roasting Kip and Photon and Anti and Stargate. Y'all are not roasting. What y'all are doing is a crime. You are actually committing an actual crime. You are harassing an innocent person who has done nothing to you to deserve any of this. And I'm going to tell you now, Triggs, I don't give a fuck about your motherfucking background. Do you understand? You need to know. I know some real niggas. You understand? Some real motherfucking niggas that will put your motherfucking background, honey, listen, make you look like the saint from sitting on the side of Jesus, okay? With the niggas I know. And the backgrounds these niggas got. And the shit these niggas into. You look like a saint. Because the only thing that y'all have doxed about this person, if it's actually Triggs, which I don't give a fuck if it is or not, the only thing that y'all have shown us is that this person that y'all doxing is working. They are gainfully employed. They are aging like the rest of us. They are taking good care of their fucking kids. By buying cars for their kids. Shit, can I be a kid? Like, yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, what the fuck else do you want from us? What do you want us to say? It's him? Even if it is him. What now? Okay. Put y'all money where y'all motherfucking mouth is, right? Y'all claim he did all this shit to you. Oh, I've been a victim. Y'all twerking to the victim song. Like, damn. What are you gonna do now? Oh, y'all gonna talk about this nigga for 20 more years? Y'all gonna show us every fucking time this nigga take a shit, every time this nigga take a piss. Y'all gonna be right there taking videos, pictures. Every time this nigga eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, every time he fucking his wife, whatever the fuck this nigga doing, y'all gonna be right the fuck there in this man's business, telling us about it like we care. It's funny because I think y'all have even lost sight of why you're doing this. You can try to say it's because he attacked your families, he did this, he did, but y'all never have come up with any evidence of any of this. You just want us to just believe you. And we can't believe you because your patterns of behavior, your history over the years has been slave catcher type shit. Right? It's been rat shit. Nobody fucks with niggas like you. Real nigga shit. Nobody fucks with that shit. That is why I'm not jumping out here standing up. I don't give a fuck about y'all niggas beefs. I don't care about none of that shit. I fuck with Triggs and I fuck with the niggas in Philly. I fuck with Smoke. Fuck with Smoke God. I don't got no problem with none of you niggas. Whatever beef you niggas have, don't have shit to do with the women. And I'm tired of having to say that. Real shit. I've said this before. Me and Smoke had a whole argument one time. We good now, but we had a whole fucking argument one time because I told him that same shit. We ain't got shit to do with whatever you niggas got going on. So whatever Triggs and Speakeasy or Propane or TC or anybody got a problem with don't have nothing to do with the women. So no, we are not going to stand up and say something to him because we feel like he's attacking us and he's making us do anything. There's not even such a coalition that exists, in case y'all didn't know. There is no such thing as this nigga Triggs running any of us behind the scenes with anything. And if y'all have not figured that out yet, if y'all haven't figured that out and understood yet, that this is not some conspiracy and he has us all scared of what exactly? Like, what exactly am I supposed to be scared of, right? I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go wherever the fuck I want to go, period. But I understand what this man is saying. I get what he's saying. Because right now, he can't trust a soul around him. You understand? Not with this shit going on. Not with the way this shit's happening. Not with his daughter getting phone calls. Not with his minor daughter. And see, none of y'all had anything to say about that. See, these are the things that keep us away from y'all. Right? Who wants their children and grandchildren being contacted from y'all? Because y'all are so obsessed with the internet that you don't know how to separate the two. Who wants that? I sure don't. Because I'm going to knock one of you niggas the fuck out. I might shoot one of you niggas. On God. You understand? Like, y'all don't understand that everybody ain't about, calling the fucking cops. You understand? Everybody ain't about that life. So I would rather just be my 48-year-old self, be my 48-year-old grandmother self, right? And I want from reality because her life has been so fucked up. Like, what if we called her 36-year-old daughter, right, while she's 52? What if we called her 36-year-old daughter and was telling her 36-year-old daughter, your mama is fucking sucking dick after she, gives fucking massages? That shit ain't even true. But what if we did that? Right? How fucked up would that be? How many live streams would Photon have if he found out T-Pre called Tamara Brooks' daughter? Her 36-year-old daughter. One that Star had when she was like 14, right? That baby? What if I called her? Because she lived down in Texas. What if I called her and told her, like, yo, your mom told her some salacious shit about Stargate, right? Because we got a song about it and everything. Shout out to the Godfather. What if I sent her that song and told her how many brothers with the good knees and how many men were getting showers and all these things? That shit's true. What if I called her 36-year-old daughter in Texas and said that? What if I called her 25-year-old, 26-year-old daughter in college and told her how much of a whore her mother continues to be after she brought that man that was fucking that other woman in the house while she was living there with her mom? And he was beating on her in front of her mom. What if I called her and told her how many more niggas she has brought in there since then? Huh? How many live streams would anti-Afros? I would make anti go live if I did that. If I did that, they would have live stream after live stream, 11 hours at a time. They would stop that one, go to the next one. They would be going on about this for years. They would never let that be lived down. So y'all are asking us with a clear mind who have been in the tower, right, to come out and fight a righteous man for standing up for his own rights over people that have been contacting his children over imaginary internet beef. And you expect us that have been in the tower with the Lord to come down here and argue with this righteous man about that? But you have nothing to say about this Jezebel who contacted his minor child. But we're supposed to be wherever we want, which we absolutely can. We can. We can go wherever we want to go. And he can set the boundaries he chooses to set. And he is completely entitled to that. And there ain't a soul in this world that would convince me, not while I've been in the tower, that he's wrong in doing that. See, that's why You need to be closer in the spirit so you can see that kind of stuff and you can move righteously. Again, now what? What do you want from us? Can we now be left alone to move on with our lives and decide who we want to deal with and who we don't without being demanded either way on how to do that? Because I'm going to respect the people that set healthy boundaries for themselves. I've had to do that a couple of times in this sector. And I don't see anything wrong with that. But see, y'all have been lurking around outside of the tower for so long, y'all forgot what's normal and what's not. Which leads me to my final thoughts on Kip and this behavior of these AFWs. Play a quick timer for y'all. I'm gonna look at y'all commentary, and then we're gonna get into it. Okay, so anyway, can y'all hear me now? I'm sorry, I was muted that whole time. Anyway, yes, I see that you sent me that. So I saw 3 of them in there, but it wasn't the one. Then maybe it was, and I just didn't hear it yet. So I'll have to go back and look at it again. But I know one of them was the gospel one. The other one was the second. It wasn't the final, and then it was a final one, which is the one I played today. But anyway, I'll find it. I know I got it, so I'm gonna find that shit. And yeah, I was trying to get out of making that baked seafood ziti, whatever. I really gotta make something for you and your wife one day. Like honestly, y'all gotta invite me to the cookout this summer or something. Okay, maybe me and 17 members will come down there and we'll do something down there in the Baltimore area, and give out some hot dogs or something like that to the kids, to the community. Just let me know, and we'll get together and do something like that for sure. You said T Pre holds on to grudges like a remora on a great white shark. You say, yeah. You said Triggs is the worst out of all of us. You know what? He is the hell of a motherfucking troll, but he's not a malicious troll. He's not. He's not a malicious troll. I have never seen Triggs dox a single soul in this sector. Now, saying Tamara Brooks, we've been saying her fucking name. So that ain't doxing her. And y'all, I know y'all gonna be the forever victims about it, but it's disgusting, what she did. And there's no excuse for that. You said they just hate peoples that are like unless they like them. Exactly. Unless they're acting like them too, right? You said, oh snap, T-Pre pulling out the belt. Okay, honey, I had to get with niggas today. You said, it's okay. You said, I'm in fear of my life, but we'll be live Friday with some giddy get back. Oh shit now. Looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. You said, Triggs, in the 85% sure. You said, I'm like 85% sure that is not you on the body cam footage, G. I'm going to get into that body cam footage in just a second. You said all this energy could have went to Umar and maybe the mission would have finally been accomplished, right? They could have got the Goonie Goons by now, the real Goonie Goons by now. They could have had a real blog out here with the real people. Everybody just out here just still collecting money and everything. I don't know. These niggas they just backwards. Hey, Lorna, I appreciate you being in the building, sis. Shout out to Canada being in the building. You said, TMK, you said, well, some of us have suggested years ago to have barriers on the fuck shit, but we were told to shut the fuck up and leave the sector if we didn't like it. Also, we were told you can't dictate a person's response. Yes, we were told that. I was told that, right? And I started going with that same rhetoric, and I even said that to you. I remember the time though when you and Remix got into it that first time on that panel, and you snapped. And you was like, fuck it, that shit out the window too. Like, we all just kind of had that moment, right? But I remember videos that I did where I said this shit. I remember one of them was called the Sector Future or something like that. And it was even before what happened to Carrie happened, right? Before they had called her job and stuff. I remember saying to the sector that if we don't do something about this, like, it's not like the sector's gonna be dead. Nobody's gonna fuck with this. No content creator is gonna want to be a part of this. That's just it, right? And sure enough, it's not that the sector is dead. It's just, no, you don't see, we don't want to be part of this. We don't want this that y'all are doing. We just don't. Even if you think we do, we just don't, right? And, I can see exactly why this man put parameters around his own channel. He has the right to do that. So, understand, especially if you don't know what's going on. He said great insight into that verse. Yeah, about the body of Christ. Yeah, absolutely. This is stuff that we need to, in these last days, be looking into, while we're having these arguments with each other about FBAs and people from the Caribbean. We all in the 12 tribes, man. All of us are in the 12 tribes. He talked about every single one of us in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Every one of us. He told Abraham that his descendants, he said, look up at the stars, and that your descendants will be more than what you see. That they will be taken off and they will be led into slavery. That they will become bondsmen and bondswomen, and they will be enslavement for 400 years. And after that, I will redeem them from who has enslaved them. We need to know who we are and the times we're in, and to stop having these arguments with each other over these simple, silly little things, and understand what the body of Christ really means. Anyway, shout out to Divine, the UK in the building. We got the UK and Canada in the building. Shout out to y'all. You said, Lorna, howdy. Make a change. Appreciate you being in the building as well. You said, Lorna, hello. Hallelujah, honey. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shout out to Slander. Shit, if I got Slander saying hallelujah, honey, okay. You said, if you want to ruin someone's life because you don't like them, just say that instead of lying. Like, it's so much easier to just be, I could respect it, right? If Kip would just say, I don't like what y'all saying, I don't like what y'all doing, I don't like that y'all are repeating what Anti has put out about my son. I don't like what's happening here. But, I don't have control over my son. That's another thing I want to say. In fairness, right? You don't have control over what your children do. You don't have control over what your children say, how they behave, the things they do. You don't have control over that. You had the time to raise them when you had it. And, if things didn't turn out the way that you expected, or if things didn't go that way, it just is what it is. These are things you got to forgive yourself for first, and then you got to move on, right? But it's not any of our responsibility to make up for any of that. It's up to you to make up for that, to make up with your son or whatever you got to do. But that's not our problem, right? And if you really want to deal with the problem directly, you need to deal with who actually put it out here, because it wasn't him. And that's why you keep running and tripping over yourself and doing this fuck shit and looking like a fool and laughing like a fucking idiot, like you, I don't know what you're doing. But whatever it is, it's not of God. And it's definitely confusion. And God is not confusion. So you need to get whatever that is together, right, in your life, because that and whatever that is never going to change this man's life. And these are facts. I'm just saying. You said slander guy. You said exactly, Miss Merv. Everybody's saying, yep. Okay. You said I missed a lot, but I know I have never seen Ray dox anybody. I've never seen that. And they keep claiming this behind the scenes that this is where this is happening. Show it. We've been asking you for 2 years to show us where this is happening. Because I'm telling you, if I knew that that was actually happening, again, this would be a very different conversation. Ain't nobody scared of Triggs. We would tell Triggs about himself. But if that's not, and then the crazy part is, not only are you guys saying that it's happening behind the scenes, but then you're trying to rope the women into it too, and saying that we are involved in it, when we know that that's not true. There is no such fucking coalition. This whole handmaiden thing is not real, guys, okay? None of us are handmaidens for this man, okay? We cool with him, he's cool, whatever, but we're not, it's not like that. But these are the things that y'all have, these are the narratives that y'all have created to the level that y'all have now done these kinds of criminal actual acts, right? And using the name of AFW LLC to do it. Being a part of this group, we have evidence of each and every one of y'all, all 4 of y'all, claiming to be part of that fucking group while you're committing actual cyber crimes, right? Am I gonna call the police on you? No. If you do it to me, I'm gonna fuck you up if I find out it was you, right? But if somebody else calls the police on y'all, oh well, that's the energy you're putting out. That's the energy that will return to you. Because that's what I said a few years ago when I told y'all. You got to be careful the energy that you put out in the world, because whatever energy that you put out, if it's negative energy, and if it's energy that is not intended, or that energy is intended for someone who doesn't deserve that energy is going to return to you. And it's going to come back it's going to come back with like 7 friends. Okay? It's going to come back and return tenfold. So every house of cards you try to build over top of somebody else, you better, every time you dig in a grave for somebody else, you make sure you dig in an extra one for you. And you make sure you dig a deeper one for you. Okay? Because your fall is going to be much worse, much harder, and much heavier if that energy is not coming from a right place. I said it before. This is the last time I'm going to say it. Now, whatever happens from here, it happens. But don't say you haven't been warned. But I have never seen that man dox any of y'all. And not one of y'all have come with any actual evidence of this. All y'all keep talking about is some paperwork that none of us give a fuck about. That has nothing to do with any of us. I am not fucking that man. I don't give a fuck who the fuck he was in a relationship with and what they did and what happened in their fucking relationship. And Star, you especially shouldn't give a fuck about that man and his relationships and what the fuck happened with his relationships when you can't even keep a man that's living in your house from cheating on you. With a woman living in your house with you and sleeping in your bed with you. You couldn't even keep that man from beating your fucking ass in front of your daughter. You couldn't keep any man. You have had at least 4 relationships before the niggas that you met online, right? Here in the internet, because you met brother X, you met him on the internet. As well, looking for a man, and your bitter ass is so angry that this dude who got his shit together a little is over here doing whatever the fuck he doing in his family and handling his business. You're mad that he wasn't going with a dust bucket bitch like you. And because he wasn't going with a dust bucket bitch like you, like the rest of these niggas ain't done, how come you ain't box brother with the good knees yet? Cause he ain't fuck with you either, Star. How come you ain't doxed any of these other niggas, Pepper Flakes and the rest of these niggas yet? Cause they ain't fuck with you either, Star. Did you call their daughters too? Are you bitter over them too? As bitter as you are over a nigga who never even looked at your pussy? You can't even make sense, Star, of why you're this upset with this man. Every time that story comes up, the only thing you keep repeating is he beats women. He chokes women. We don't know that. And guess what? We also don't care. Because we're not in a relationship with him. We're not fucking him. Okay? We just want to play a little spades with the nigga. We just want to get up and have a little kiki and a laugh. And get a little intro made that he was thoughtful of thinking of when we came to hang out and spend a little time and laugh without doxing somebody and without looking up somebody's information. That is the refreshment that we get as women when we go and hang out in that space. It ain't about simping or any of that. It's about camaraderie. It's about enjoying a common space and being able to be in a space where you can laugh for a minute and enjoy it. And even though we get all the nonsense and all the bullshit and the holy hell from y'all, we can go somewhere and actually laugh about it. We have somewhere where we can vent about it in a way that's healthy. Or do you want us to be doing what y'all do? Going on 11-hour rants, screaming at the microphone, angry at being made fun of and being roasted. Because that's what y'all are mad about. This is what you're asking us women who are in the tower praying to do. We ain't even praying about the sector. We praying about the world. We praying about our sons. We praying about our daughters. We praying about our grandkids. We out here preparing the universe for the next generation. That's what we're doing. And you want us to get off of that. See, this is what makes me want to slap bitches, right? When I got to get out of that to come down here and slap a hoe for bothering me. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? For bothering me, for getting me out of that space. Now I'm coming to lament to the Lord. Now I'm tearing my clothes before him. Because you pissing me the fuck off. You know what he gonna do? He gonna hand me the sword and say, slay the demon. So you can get back to your work. So please leave us women alone. Because what we're doing is praying for men like y'all. That's what we're doing. We're interceding. That's what we're spending our time doing. While working and building. Putting money away, growing food. Talking about finances with the next generation. This is the stuff we're doing. We're looking into our health. We're taking care of ourselves. We're setting aside the childish things and we're picking up the armor of God. So when we hear these silly things and these things going on, and we don't react like the chaotic demons that you're expecting, you might want to check yourself and look at what you have learned to find normal behavior. We need to check ourselves or why we're not reacting in an abnormal way to abnormal behavior. But why you're expecting us to have a reaction in any way. I hope that my words were as clear as they can be. I don't think I could get any clearer than what I said. I want to see everybody succeed. Success starts in you. People say success starts with God, but God put the tool sector that hurts your feelings. You're just not. Your peace of mind is from within. And that's a choice. You can choose non-peace, right? You can choose violence. You can. But don't step on those that choose peace. Especially the women, right? Because see, I heard y'all. I heard y'all when y'all said how concerned you seemed about how the women are being treated by this man. But again, if you're concerned about the women, then let the women speak for themselves. And sometimes silence speaks volumes. I'm going to go ahead and get into these comments, and then we're going to end the show from here. I really appreciate everybody from coming out today. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. I'm off today. I decided I'm not going to do anything today. So he said, exactly, T. Pre. He said, wasn't he angry at AAS and Gerald about the sick child? You said, there are a lot of fools, though, okay? You said, yes, now is the time to get off the pot and develop a backbone. 100% facts. You said, yep, that's not what he said. Okay, exactly. I'm just saying, boundaries is okay. It is completely okay. Like, you don't, we don't have to, not, there's been this thing in this space that trolls have pushed to the forefront, that boundaries are not allowed. You're not supposed to have boundaries. How dare you have boundaries? If you have boundaries, you're weak and all these other things. This is the things that y'all have said. And this is why the sector is in the state that it's in. He said, nah, I felt him on that trust. I don't feel no type of way. Exactly. I know you don't. I know you don't. I knew Teresa didn't, and I knew you didn't too. And I know what we witnessed when we were over there watching this nonsense. Watching this bullshit. As if we haven't seen them do this over and over again to multiple people. Just because it's somebody you don't like doesn't make it different. But you're entitled to go watch what you want. But please don't tell us we need to stand up to somebody putting boundaries, on their own platform and in their own space for this. No. Mm-mm. Absolutely not. They are harassing and doxing these people. It is nonsense. It's aggravated harassment. And it's a group of them. It's an entire group of them. And they're passing money around doing it. And it's not like that can't be traced. So yes, this is actually a crime. This is actually a crime. You said exactly what now and what next. You see, y'all. So I'm highlighting the women's comments. This is what the women are saying. Y'all understand? While you're telling us, you women need to stand up. We're standing. The women are standing. Do you see the women? Do y'all see the women? We are standing. We are telling you what we feel. We are telling you. We are okay with the boundaries. We don't like this bullshit y'all doing. We're not okay with the slave catcher mentality. We don't want our children and our grandchildren to be out here as targets when we're out here covering them in the spirit as it is. This is what we're telling you. Us women. Shout out to the women. Salute. They are telling you what they feel. You said, OMG, we don't want to know all that, Jesus. Okay? Like, shit. What's up, TC? I appreciate you being in the building. And Teresa, grown shits, right? Just saying. Just saying. You said truth is truth and lies are lies, period. We are all adults. Everybody in this space is in their 40s or more or higher. Some of us are close to 50. Some of us are in our 50s. Some of y'all are 60 or pushing 60. Right? Like, what do you really expect from us? What do you really honestly expect from us? And keep in mind, right? I was saying this to somebody yesterday. Through these past couple of years that this has been going on, Kip, you have aged more. You've gotten older, right? Our bodies, our minds, our eyes, they're not what they used to be, right? So you got to adjust to life. You got to adjust your lifestyle to your body. You got to adjust if you want to keep living, right? You got to adjust your lifestyle to what your body is experiencing, what your body is going into. So all this stress and nonsense and this carrying on is taking years off of your life. Years that you could be spending teaching your grandchildren not to be doing what the fuck you're doing right now. Years, right? So you may have lost that before, but now you don't. Now you have the time. God is giving you more time. What are you going to do with it? You mean to tell me you're going to waste your time talking unrighteously about a person who has never done anything to deserve any of this? And you think that energy is not going to return to you? Okay. I'm going to tell you now. Triggs ain't going to have to lift a finger at you. Not him or anybody around him. Especially when you're putting your hands and your lips on children. Especially that. So you mark my words, from this moment you've been warned. I don't really give a fuck about y'all. Y'all can have 2 15, 20-hour live streams talking about T-Pre. T-Pre. I don't give a fuck. I promise you I don't give a fuck, bro. Okay? I don't care. Y'all do y'all. But truth is truth and facts are facts. And sometimes the truth fucking hurts, right? I told you I was ripping the Band-Aid off today. Ripping it off. And throwing the peroxide on it. My kids remember them days. They would get a cut or a bruise. I didn't let that shit get all soft. No, getting dirt in it and everything. We gonna pour peroxide on that right now. It's gonna sting. Yes, it's gonna sting. But it's gonna heal. And they don't have marks or bruises or anything because of that. From when they fell and scraped a knee, or when they, cut a finger or something like that, because that's how I treated a wound. Sometimes you got to get in there, you got to clean that shit right on out and leave it open to the air, to the elements to heal. You said laughs and giggles when it's Ray, tears and snot when they think their family will be contacted. Okay. Okay. Because I want to talk about, before I finish these comments here. Well, let me finish the comments first and then I'm going to say that. You said, hey, sweetheart. You said, okay. You said, Miss Murph. You said, preach. You said, Miss Murph, the nerve. You said, exactly. All the women are individuals. We've been saying this. We're tired of hearing y'all keep grouping us together with some conspiracy with him. What the fuck are you talking about? Like that is the part that we don't understand. But you want us to jump up and make some declaration about something we don't even feel and something that doesn't even fucking exist. While we out here in the spirit. This is the shit that be pissing me the fuck off. That I'm telling you, God knows, that will piss me off. When I gotta get out of the spirit and I gotta come deal with some stupid shit like this. Listen, you really don't want that from me. So, you said preach, sis. You said Miss Murph 100. You said T-Pre. Oh yeah, is in the house. Okay. Ain't nobody playing. You said, yeah, that's despicable. Absolutely despicable. Don't make no sense. You said she put us on the time. You said, facts, I don't give a fuck what Triggs or any of you do off this app. Them niggas jealous. Triggs and drama is loved around here. And that is sad. And one of the things that Ghost said that was so profound, like maybe a few weeks ago, he told them, maybe it's people just don't like y'all, right? Why is it that people can't just not like you? Why is it that y'all are so butthurt about that? Because that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. It ain't got nothing to do with your family. Your son don't even like you, Kip. He said it openly. The video's still up on his channel. He don't fuck with you. He said it in a letter. I mean, not in a letter, in a comedy show he did and everything. He doesn't fuck with you. He never has. But we already know this. We know that kids say things when they're younger, before they have children, before their experience. My daughter said some stuff on a podcast, right? It's not about that, though. When they grow up and they become parents and they start experiencing the same shit you experience, or they start seeing some shit as life really is, their stance on things might change, right? They might have a different point of view of some stuff. But your son is 35, 36 years old, and he's still saying this shit about you. Like he don't see no change in you. As a matter of fact, you've gotten worse, according to your son. Like, see, you want to talk about your son? Let's talk about your son. Because that's what your son says about you. That's not our fault. That's not Triggs' fault. That's not anybody's fault. What I didn't do about my daughter's podcast is get out here and do, I didn't do any of that. Yeah, that's her podcast. I owned it. That's her podcast. But y'all making it more than what it is. But you won't own what's up with your son. But trust me, you don't got no control over your son. So if you came out here and just simply said, I don't have control over what my son do, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me, instead of all this extra shit, all this police rat type behavior, I mean, I could have respected that. I can't respect this rat type crazy weird ass behavior because you're embarrassed, because your feelings are hurt. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. I fucking don't care. Like, honestly, I don't care. There's too many other things happening for me to care about little Kip's feelings. That's what the Lord is for. That's who you're supposed to lament to, is him. He cares about your feelings. He said, cast your cares upon him, for he cares for you. That's what he said. I never told you that. So I don't give a fuck about your feelings, okay? I'm just letting you know. But either way, the way you going about this, it's going to come back. Like, period. But yes, like Ghost said, some of us just don't like you. And we're allowed to not like you. And the police don't need to be called because we don't like you. Right? Now it's a thing, where maybe a few people don't like you for whatever reason. People like me, sometimes people don't like you because you're very opinionated and you'll tell a motherfucker about their self, right? In righteousness. Sometimes in unrighteousness. Because we're human, right? But it's another thing when 99% of the room doesn't like you. Right? That's a different thing that you might need to look within about. Or not. But don't be surprised when people tend to not go in your favor, and in your direction when you cry wolf. Even if you're right that one time. Right? Even if you are. If you have a history of being and having rat-like behavior and slave catcher behavior, 99% of the room is not going to fuck with you. Period. And that is nobody's fault but your own. Nobody's fault but your own. So shout out to you, Ghost, for telling him that. For telling them niggas that. But yeah, we don't care. I know plenty of niggas, okay? Plenty. That shit does not matter. Those traffic violations and shit does not fucking matter at all. At all. Y'all have not showed us anything that would have me just falling out of the fucking sky. But with your son, when I was shown that shit, that had me falling out the fucking sky, okay? You said not the first time someone's child has been contacted or followed on social media, but let me go on mute, okay? It's not the first time. Hold on one second, y'all. All right. Anyway, it's not the first time. It's not the second time. But it always comes from that motherfucking camp. Always comes from over there. But yep. And they can't understand why we're just not interested in fucking with that shit. You said, damn move right, sir. You said, too big. You said, don't worry, I'll let y'all know how it went Friday. Okay. Okay. You said, hey, ladies. You said, Lord, child. You said, not the happy ending special. I'm just saying, right? What if I call her 36-year-old daughter, you know, I ain't gonna say her name, but I do know her name. But what if I called her 36-year-old daughter in Texas and said, yo, your mom be giving happy endings after she do her massages, right? How fucked up would that be? How fucked up would it be where they would now have an actual righteous reason to be going live for hours and hours and hours, dragging the fuck out of me, right? How wrong would I be for that? But it's okay when Star calls this man's minor daughter just because niggas don't like him. And they have nothing to say about that. You said, Jesus be offense, child. Okay. You said, yo, you saying she had more than next? What if I called her 36-year-old daughter in Texas and told her that? Right? Just like she called Triggs' minor daughter and said that Triggs is beating on women. What if I called her 36-year-old daughter in Texas and said, and she's 36. What if I call her 36-year-old daughter in Texas and said that your mama be giving up fucking neck after she does massages? How many videos would there be about me? But y'all want me to talk shit to Triggs about him putting boundaries on his own channel. You said SMDH. You said, hey, you said Ray the Righteous. Okay, we gotta change his name to Ray the Righteous. You said bringing out screenshots and never-ending clips. Okay, from years ago. You said, now Ray, don't be running around with that. Okay, you gonna be putting Ray the Righteous on his name now. You said Mrs. Murph, haha, good one. You said P said he's gonna call the prison and let everybody know that his dad is a rat. Hey yo, P, I ain't gonna hold you. I want to be part of that phone campaign. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll put down the righteousness for a second for that. Okay. God said we gonna be judged for our good and evil. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead. You know, I just want to be part of that phone campaign. Okay. We gonna call the police that day. Okay. We gonna have to tell the prison. We gonna have to go up down and make visits. Okay. Oh my goodness! Oh my god! Oh my god! Let me stop. You said P. There are 6. Okay. You said, oh shit, Pre coming to Charm City. You said, did anyone else notice she set a live last night, or was it just me? Oh really? Only you, because I didn't see that. Did she go live or no? You said I snap you said once every 3 years. I am due for a snap this year, but we'll skip this round because I'm getting right with the Lord. Okay, we gotta get right with God right now. You know, we gotta reserve the snapping. Okay, we gotta reserve the snapping. Okay, we gotta reserve that for now. Right now we in battle. Right now we in battle. You said we aren't allowed to say that name over here, beautiful child. Listen. He said slander got you. What name? I don't know what name you said. Did anyone? You could have said the name because I don't care. I'll say everybody's fucking name around here. You said, "Hey, keeper, I appreciate you being in the building." You said, "I agree with that 100. If you did your best to raise your kids, they are responsible for themselves as adults." Like, period. Exactly, man. And you, listen, man. You, when your kids get a certain age, you'll stop worrying about shit like that. Real shit. You'll be like, you'll look at them like, "Oh yeah, that's the choice you made. Oh, okay. What you want? You need help with this? Oh, okay. You have a good day. Love you. Love you. That's what you do. Okay. Because you don't have no control over them. Okay. Like none at all. Like literally. But people like Kip who aren't healed from whatever that shit is that happened between you and your son, this is your reaction, right? It's an unnatural reaction because the relationship with y'all isn't healed. It's not, you still broken, right? So this is why you're reacting like this. You need to get that right, meaning you need to forgive yourself first, and then you need to get that shit straight between you and your son. I'm not saying you asking me for my opinion. I don't give a fuck if you're asking me for my opinion, right? I am doing what the Lord told me in Deuteronomy 28 verse 1, period. Telling you about yourself, whether you want to hear it or not. So anyway, child, you said okay. You said because Triggs never did that. That's why there's no evidence. Exactly. Where is the proof? It didn't happen. And we've been waiting. And I'm telling you, if you produced actual evidence of this, not spliced and diced shit, not some fake storyline, not any of that, actual evidence of this, this would be a very different conversation I would have with him. But that's not what's going on. Y'all just mad that people fuck with them. And you can be joked about, you know, and we can enjoy ourselves over there. That's literally what you're mad about. Fucking ridiculous. You said me can't be bothered, okay? She's saying hi to everyone. Okay. We're getting through the comments here. Let's see. You said ciao. You said, is bad box syndrome curable? Child, I don't know. Oh, okay. I hope y'all got the sound back now. It's sound now. Okay. You said, plus when all of their records came out, we didn't. All of their records came out, we didn't care, right? Literally, nobody cared about any of that shit. Nobody gives a fuck about none of this shit, man. For real. You said she loves him. She loves him down. Okay. You said beautiful. You said keeper 116. Keeper 116. Hey, doll. You said right. You said Triggs must have rejected her advances. It had something, I don't know, but she be really losing her fucking mind over these men, man. Like these niggas that, you know, and then she be trying so hard and so desperately to find love at this age. Girl, you need to find the peace of the Lord. That's what you need, okay? And he'll bring the right person in your life, okay? If it's meant for that. And sometimes it ain't even meant for that. Right now, you got work to do, girl. You got kids and stuff. You got, let me be quiet. You got kids, Star. You need to be in the spirit, for real, and stop all this nonsense, man, and get yourself some healing. Real talk. Every black woman has had some kind of experience with something hurtful. You know, you get yourself some healing. You said not to mention an arrest does not imply guilt, nor does a conviction. To be honest, exactly, especially for black people. So what are we doing here? You said slander. I got your drive stop on film. Also, did you really tell that cop that 4 pounds a week was for medicinal purposes? Childish and petty, right? You said that's why it's only one Tig. Sorry, shorty, you can't make him another. Okay, can't make another him. I'm just saying. You said, why am I supposed to trip out about a traffic stop or an arrest, or about a man paying child support, or about a man buying a car for his daughter? Like, what the fuck are you like what these things we're supposed to be angry about? I don't understand it, right? And then you're just like, I got him. We know it's him. We know it's him. It's like, okay, all right, now what? Right? Like, so what are you gonna do with it? You claim you're such a victim. What are you gonna do with it? Let's see. Let's see y'all move and shake. Like Rev G says in his members only, right? That me and one other person are the top tier members of. Shout out to her. Shout out to my Rev G member only people. Yeah. Shout out to us. You said beautiful. You said hi, keeper. You said talk about it, Pre. You said ooh wee. I'm just saying. You said hey YouTube Unfolded. I appreciate you being in the building. You said I'm late. My God, girl, it's okay. You can red doll. We actually about to be out of here in a second. I got one more thing I want to talk about, and then we're gonna be out of here. You said more trouble than myself has arrived. Okay. He said, hey to everybody. He said, oh Lord, trouble. Triggs been here since the beginning. It's your fault. Okay, child. Yes. He said, like Kanye, I missed that old VS. Okay. He said, yes, 60s is the new 30s with more body aches and pains, child. Just saying. Okay. Damn, they're just ridiculous. Hey, Pills. I appreciate you being in the building. Shout out to you. All right. You said, oh no, you know I heard it. That's why I said somebody give her some tissue. Okay. You said someone said they hate what's in you because it's not in them. Or it might be in them, but they don't know how to realize it. They don't know how to manifest it, right? And so they just hate that you're manifesting it. But you got to get right. You got to get cleansed. You got to get right. You got to get out of this nonsense. You said, wait till y'all hear about the other grown ass son. What? Whoa, I cannot wait. Can we just fast forward to Friday? Can you just come up on the panel? Like, what are we doing? Let's talk about it. You said, yes, the Oracle said that, Philly live. You said, Miss Murph, I heard. You said, Pills Tavius. You said, salute. Hey Hoodie, I appreciate you for being in the building. I appreciate you. You said Triggs got all their panties stuck in their ass. Girl, it's crazy. It is nuts. You said Hoodie, I seen the comment. I appreciate that, bro. You said salute to Divine. Everybody saying hi to each other. You said it's a great Garvey day, child. Okay. You said Triggs, my boy, you wrote with me in my dark times, bro. LOL, my license was trash for 15 years. I can't talk about nobody. LOL, we all go through shit. I'm just saying, these are like stupid fucking things, man. I'm telling you, like, man. That shit is nothing, okay? Like, it is nothing at all. Like, you look like an entire saint, okay, compared to some criminal activity and criminal shit that I know. He said the level of immaturity of whoever called his daughter, man. I don't care. It's trash. And that's the part. This is the part that the other side does not understand. Maybe y'all do understand, but maybe it's cognitive dissonance, right? Why would we want to be part of some shit like that? Why do you expect us to come here and support this nonsense? Like, yeah, you got him. Yeah, yo, that's it. Kiki. Woohoo. Like, what? Just because y'all have decided to normalize that type of shit doesn't mean we have to. I don't really understand. Just because y'all decided not to normalize setting boundaries does not mean we have to do that. So again, it's the level of immaturity. And then on top of that, y'all have nothing to say about, like, I didn't hear any of y'all mention. Maybe I missed it, right? I didn't watch the whole thing. Maybe I missed it. But I didn't hear any of y'all give Star any pushback for calling that man's daughter. Oh, we don't have no proof. Right. But y'all know this is the shit these people do. Y'all know they do shit like that. So, but there's no pushback for that. But we're supposed to stand up and push back at this man for setting his own boundaries. Do y'all hear how stupid that sounds when you put it in layman's terms like that? When you put it plainly, right? When you speak plainly, when you rip off the band-aid and you don't play mental gymnastics with people, right? How stupid you sound telling us that this is how we should react as 40 and 50-year-old women. Anyway, I mean, like, honestly, I'm offended. And I'm sure they are too. I can't speak for the other women, but it's offensive. You said that's right, Hoodie. These MFers got shit effed up. We supposed to be outraged about this BS, right? Like, why does this matter? This does not matter to me. You said turned up body bag comment. You said I agree, Raw. You said exactly, amen. You said the niggas still got the trucks and the Mozzie paperwork can always be taken care of, right? So what are they doing? What are y'all doing here? I don't really understand. You said, or that his daughter lives with him, right? Like it's just wild that they're even bringing the daughter into it. So the very thing that y'all claim to stand up against and hate is the very thing y'all have become. Literally. And then you're standing there enjoying it. And then mad that we're not. And then demanding we do. You're telling us he's demanding something from us. No, he's demanding normalcy in his own space. And he's commanding. There's a difference in demanding and commanding. He's commanding normalcy in his own space, as I have always done in my space, right? This is why none of you trolls have showed up in my chat today. Because I have always commanded normalcy in this space. That's not me forcing and making anybody choose I don't give a fuck what y'all choose. But what you're not going to do is come in my space with that shit. That's what you're not going to do. That's what the man said. If you can't comprehend that, I don't know what to tell you. I know you may need to look in the mirror. You may need to have a talk with the Lord. You said beautiful. You said beautiful Bernice. You said hey to Bernice. You said Hoodie, I'm riding dirty as we speak, man. Allegedly, okay? You said Triggs, I'm gonna be in ATL June. Let's get coffee. Yeah. You said Triggs, LOL, bro. We do what we gotta do. Get to the money. Right. That's it. All this bullshit. This nigga up here spending time going to police stations and going all these motherfucking places. Nigga, you got a truck? You should be making money, man. You shouldn't even the time you spend in doing all this, you could have that much more money and putting your family in a better position. You over here want to talk about Triggs and all these other people all fucking night long while other niggas is out here getting bread. I don't give a fuck what the fuck you niggas talking about. The fuck? Get the fuck out my face. Shit. I'm trying to get this money today. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You said make something shake, especially with the orthopedic hips, okay? Child, listen. You said Mrs. Murph's spoken words as always. You said D7 orthopedic hips. Child. You said like some laughing hyenas. Just looking crazy. And I don't know, like, what, girl, I don't really understand, like, why you would want any mature woman with any, any couth to herself you would think we would want to be a part of any of that bullshit. I don't really understand. You said, or keep it even when your life is explored. Don't trip. Right. Period. When you go through it, why is it a problem? Right? If it's okay for you, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Right? There you go. But the thing is the difference is Triggs never did that to them. Like that, he never did that. Never did this. You said, Triggs, when I come down to ATL, you better pull up and have a drink with your boy, okay? You said, I'm offended, child. I am highly offended. Highly offended. You said, her having daughters, if she called that man daughter, She's dumber than I thought. Okay, and that's crazy because I was even telling Dee this the other day. I know Star has done some real fuck shit in the sector, right? I didn't know she was doing shit like that. That I didn't know. That puts a very different light on her. Even though I already don't like the girl and all that shit, but that just puts her in a different category. I never knew she would do something like that. You said Hoodie definitely. You said Keeper, she don't have that name for nothing. Mm-mm-mm. You said exactly. You said hey Raw. You said they're worrying about how LF's daughter stays with him, but paying child support. Like the fuck y'all care? SMDH. These dudes need friends. They really do. Like I can't believe this is something they want to discuss, right? When it, again, the thing about Kip's son was not released by Triggs. Triggs didn't put that out there. It was anti her camp that put that out there. And we know that for a fact. You said I was behind catching a replay later, honey. Okay, my opinion. I appreciate you being out here. Salute to you. And you said beautiful, the bestest. You said seriously. You said so should Triggs' daughter live with non-family and not her own father? Like exactly. It's like I don't really understand. You know, they're trying to look into his child, and you know, and you guys want us to make a stance against him simply because you don't like him. So because you don't like him for whatever y'all beef is, right? Because mind you, Triggs is not telling us not to fuck with you, right? He's not telling us that. He said, don't come to his shit if he see y'all fucking with them, right? And he rightfully should do that. He rightfully should do that. With the bullshit that y'all are doing, absolutely he should. Girl, just loud and wrong, right? And y'all see us people, us women, you hear us loud and clear today. What we are telling you today, what we feel. We are taking a stance today and telling you how we feel. We been took a stance and told you how we feel. And again, we don't got nothing to do with y'all shit. So please leave us out of it. Whatever beef y'all got and whatever you want to say to him about your feelings, let it be between you and him. Please leave us women out of it. We know where we want to go and who we want to be at and where we want to be and why we're not dropping down in chats or why we are. I might drop down over there one day and tell you niggas about yourself. I don't care. Or I might not. I might get a headache from the stupid, weird shit y'all talking about and just cut that shit off. Because it's stupid and it's childish. And some of y'all are older than me. So anyway, I appreciate everybody for coming out today. We spent 3 hours out here and I think I got it all out. But I got one final thing to say about the situation. You know, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna say this again. I find it really strange that these anti-fraud warriors, called the Anti-Fraud Warriors LLC, ran by Anti-Afro Svengali, aka Andrea Stewart, out there in El Cajon, California. Also run secondary by Rev G, aka Gerald Palmer, down there in Kansas City, Missouri. Works at Avila University. Also involving Stargate, aka Tamara Brooks, that lives up in upper state New York with the massage therapy license number. No, I'm not going to give you her license number. You know, all these people that are involved in this group called the AFWs, right? Kip. All these people involved, Donald Winters, in this senior, in this group. Well, you just Donald Winters because he got a different middle name than you. Thank God his mother gave him a different middle name than your demonic ass. But all of y'all have collectively as well as individually associated yourselves with this LLC. And somehow, some way, this LLC continues to get a hold of information that shouldn't be available to the public. One being that sealed document on D. Durrell's trial that was sealed the same day that it was posted by the courts. So it had to be somebody on the inside, right, that got a hold of that document, that would have only been able to access that document because they had access to it through the AUSA's office or through the court itself, in order for Anti to be able to distribute it as she openly and publicly did on a public platform to Photon and Smoke and Taz and everybody else that she distributed this information to. So that was one strike. Since y'all want to talk about strikes. Ha 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 ha. Kip. Ha ha. Kip. Strikes. Strike 1, 2, and 3. And then suddenly Donald Winters had a hold of some body cam footage. Body cam footage from an arrest in a county there in Georgia. From 3 weeks ago. Right? Roughly about 2.5, 3 weeks ago that this arrest took place. So I did a little research on that, and I wanted to see how soon can you get a hold of body cam footage from an arrest? And are the police allowed to release such information so soon? Turns out in most places that body cam footage is usually not released unless a case has been like adjudicated or solved or closed. And even after it has, it still takes some time to send that. It could take up to like 90 days. It could take 90 days or longer to receive it, because they got to make sure that they're not giving you any personal identifiable information, that they have redacted some information on this, and that, you know, they're providing you with, you know, this has gone through a few eyes and a few hands before it gets to you. If it's done through a FOIA request, through a proper request, which it can be requested legally. But that's the general process to get this. It's not a 2-week process. First, you got to wait at least 5 business days to ask for it to begin with, before you can even request it. Mind you, this was 2.5 weeks ago. And you mean to tell me another anti-fraud warrior, LLC member, has some information that shouldn't even be available to the public yet, once again? Y'all do this shit to yourself. Y'all be doing this to yourself for the hatred that you have for some man because he simply roasted you. But y'all don't have the same hatred for the nonsense that you claim he's done to you, that you're doing. You're actually doing what you claim you hate. And then mad at us because we won't stand by you in your bullshit. Like we're going to play mental mind games with ourselves and start pretending that the behavior that you're exhibiting is normal. And that somehow what and how we're thinking, we the crazy ones. And we're being controlled. All this bullshit. As if we're dumb derelicts and we don't have minds of our own. As if we don't see through your bullshit. And we're just so stupid. We're just letting some erroneous man on the internet that none of us have ever fucking met and never fucking will decide for us how we're going to view you. And your derelict ass, slave catcher ass, rat motherfucking ass bullshit. This is what you think we're supposed to do. With the type of stuff that you guys are willing to go to the lengths that you go to come after people who just simply don't want anything to do with you. But you want us to look at Triggs as a predator. You want us women to view him as the problem. So, y'all can have it. You got it. Congratulations. Y'all have completely made idiots of yourselves. And you have completely put the sector in a space where we don't want anything to do with you. So now, you're left to your elements. Whatever happens with y'all, it happens. But we're going to continue to move on. We're going to go wherever the fuck we want to go. We're going to go and hang with who we want to. Whether you will like it or not. That's for anybody. We're going to go and give the commentary we want to give. We're not going to be demanded to give any commentary on anything that we don't want to talk about. And what we want to talk about in the spaces we want to talk about them, that's where we're going to do it. I'll drop the link. If anybody has any questions for me, you're welcome to come on up. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to play a timer. And then I'm going to go over y'all comments. And then we will be out of here because I really kind of want to get out of here. I want to enjoy the rest of my day. So hold on one second, guys, while I put this up. All right, hold on 1 second, guys. I'm trying to put the link in the chat. It's coming up now. Give me a second, guys. Shout out to all of y'all. I do see the comments too, so I'll be to the comments in just a second. I'm just waiting for the chat to populate. I hope you guys did enjoy the show today. I don't know why my chat isn't coming up. I don't know why this chat's not coming up, but listen, I'm trying to put this link in here. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Why isn't this chat coming up? That's crazy. I got YouTube open and the chat doesn't want to come up for some reason. It's like weird. I heard somebody else saying that too. I think Triggs, you said that the other day. I don't know, y'all. Maybe the Lord don't want y'all to come up here. Look, I'm gonna put it in here, and if one of my mods can just post it, if one of the mods can like copy that and post it in the chat, then that would be great. Okay, but I have no idea why the link is not coming up. Why the chat's not coming up for me. But either way, I do apologize for that, but if one of the mods can just copy that and paste it, and then everybody can be able to. He said, I don't like Hawkspit, but they love him, so kick motherfucking bricks, right? Okay. He said, there's no embarrassment for my boy. Them glasses have me laughing, those Triggs, okay? Shit. I wear contacts. I haven't worn glasses in years, but if I did, they would look like that same shit would be happening to me. Trust me. You said Keeper 116. You said Raw B, gentlemen. You said PTO has been approved for y'all. Hey, you said I'll let y'all know your time individually. Okay, thank you. You said I'm going back. I said I'm going back to Cali. Okay, in the cot. Okay, all right, child. You said that part, but trying to convince me about Triggs, like fuck out of here, right? You said LOL. Damn star in New York. Yeah, she in upstate New York, up near Buffalo and Rochester area. You said Raw B, thank you, honey. Be right back. You said according to her, Buffalo, New York, child. Okay. You said Hoodie, hey, honey. You said hey, Teresa. You said right, Pre. How anti get that body cam footage so fast? Oh, okay. Like we not slow, y'all. We not slow. You said keep her LOL. Stop it. I never knew she lived that close to me. Yes, she do. You said, oh, wow, Hoodie, that's what I'm saying. Never know who's who or how close someone may be to you, okay? Just saying. You said, exactly. You said, Robbie, check the wall. You said, preach, sis. You said, my bad. I know you're at work. No rush. You said, game over, child, okay? You said, you chose violence, okay? Just saying. You said, Pre, you made excellent points and commentary. Thank you. I do appreciate that. And yep, so there is the link. I don't see anybody hitting it though. It looks like it's been down for about 2 minutes. Okay, here's somebody coming up now. Hey, Teresa.
Hey, hello, darling.
Hey, how are you?
Always good, love. Always good. Hello, my bunnies in the chat and my darlings. Oh,
Good.
another
How you
wonderful.
been?
I'm always dealing.
I know
Have the
that's
good
right.
days, the bad. Yeah, have the good days, the bad days, and do what I got to do on that day to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Only way you can be. But
That's it.
I would like to take this opportunity since we're here. You haven't been live. Ladies and gentlemen, your PTOs have all been approved.
Hey.
So you're all so welcome, and I will give it to you guys individually to let you know your hours. But
Okay.
outstanding job, darlings.
Thank you.
Okay, let's
I
go ahead,
appreciate that.
baby.
No, I said I
I'm love to
appreciate
the babies and the family.
you. Same to you. I appreciate you. And tell Redbone I said hello. Give her a special hug for me.
Oh,
And
absolutely. She's probably in the
and the
clouds.
family too. Okay, I'm glad. Well, tell her I love her, and I hope you guys are doing well. And I'm
Oh,
doing
we are,
very
darling.
well. I'm doing
Good,
very
good,
well.
good.
I am. I'm doing
And
really well.
oh shit, my tickle about to blow over the ceiling. It's kicking ass, but it's beautiful out here. Um, yeah, honey, and I really do love your commentary when you breaking things down and how you keep it. It's so adult of you. I love it. So we gonna keep
Thank
kicking
you.
it off in this boring sector, my loves.
Yeah, because that's all I want to be is the grandparent sector. I'm about to start that, right? We about to start a grandparent sector, okay? Because I
The
be
double
needing some.
OGs.
Let me tell you, I had bought some Dr. Teal's Epsom salt the other day. I didn't know. Hold on, let me go
Hmm.
get it. I want to tell you about it. Hold on one second.
Okay. Is it my mic that's really loud? Because sometimes it'll be really loud and y'all know I'll be super low. I don't know. Sometimes I guess I'm supposed to really be heard, and other times then I ain't supposed to say shit. Well,
So I
how's
got
everybody's
one
day
that
going? Go ahead, honey.
says it's the soothe and sleep with lavender. I like that one, right? Because
I
I've
love
always
it.
known about that.
It's got the lavender plants on the package.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
It's
girl,
the
I
soothe and
love
sleep
that
with
one.
lavender.
Love
Yeah.
Doctor. Yeah, I love it.
I've always known about that one, and it has a liquid. They
Mhm.
got a liquid one too, right? So
Oh,
I've always
really?
known
I
about
didn't know
that one.
about the liquid.
Yeah, you can get the liquid. You can make a nice bubble bath with it. So I
Oh,
got
wow. I
that
did.
one,
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Go ahead,
but
honey.
I found another one. It is
Do
Dr.
tell.
Teal. It's powered with magnesium and essential oils. It has black elderberry with vitamin D, child. You
Okay,
know, I
I'm
put
already on
this
my
in
end.
the I put this in the
Go
bath
ahead.
the other day and mixed the two. I put the lavender and this together. Baby, talk about the
Okay, I'm on my
best
Amazon account
experience.
right now as we speak and looking for it.
Okay.
I'm on my account right now, putting it in as we
Yeah.
freaking speak. I
You can
love that
put
because
that you could
go
put those
ahead.
two together in the bath, okay? And honey, it's over. Okay? It's over. Just,
Okay,
do
now
your
see.
little whatever you do all day, your little exercises and stuff, have your
Hmm.
water, cleansing all that, but put them two in your bath at night.
Okay, see,
Mm.
I'm gonna tell you, when that energy find energy, we all gonna be much much healthier. So, what was they saying? Grandparents do what now? Big Mama do what
Okay.
now? She making
Grandparents
dressing
come.
and she going out and having brunch with her girlfriends.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay. That's what we in here doing. This the stuff we in here doing, right? We talking
All right, my
about,
loves.
health
Go
and
ahead.
cleansing and stuff like that. And that Epsom salt definitely helps you cleanse. So
Mm, love it, love it, love it.
you feel those aches and stuff like that. We all getting older. Grab you some that Dr. Teal's with the black elderberry. It's got vitamin D in it. It's got magnesium, and then you can also use the Soothe and Sleep one that has the lavender. You put those two together. Oh my God, it's the best
I'm
sleep
already
that
thinking
you be
about
like.
I'm gonna see if I can get it before 5 o'clock today. You just and it's
Mhm.
beautiful out here, and then when you outside, you ready to just jump. Okay, girl,
Right.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, if you can sleep
So,
on your porch, if you got one of them,
and I do need like especially at night when the lights be on, and I be out laid
uh-huh,
all the way back.
uh-huh.
Okay, my darlings, well y'all have a good one. I'm gonna get back to
You
wife and
too.
being nosy, and I will see
You
y'all later.
too.
And again, thank y'all
Okay,
for
y'all.
being y'all. Thank y'all for
Okay,
being y'all.
Teresa. You
All
too.
right, love
Love
you.
seeing you. Love you too.
All right, see ya.
Okay, see ya. Okay, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and end the show here. You said suggested someone should do a live 40 plus women and upcoming. I'm gonna kick you, Teresa, okay? Hey Ghost, what's up? Can you
Hey,
hear
can
me?
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up? Hold on one second. You said suggesting someone do a live for 40 plus women and upcoming health issues they should watch out for or tips on the products. You know what? I had thought about doing something like that. I follow this one lady on YouTube. It's two of them actually. I follow this black lady and I follow this white lady too. And both of them do tips on premenopause and menopause and what to expect and stuff like that, and the things that all the different changes that your women experience during that. So I think that's a great conversation we can all have. Yeah, I would love to do that. What's up, TC?
Ain't nothing. Yeah, bring all the old heads out, T. Free. You already know. You know how to do that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What
Bring
you been
all.
doing?
Not, you already know. Just chilling. It's good to see. I saw Darrell live last night. You live
Yeah, I
today. All the
missed it
old.
last night though. I did miss his show last night, but I saw it the night before.
Hey man, so it's good to see all everybody back around. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah,
been a crazy week, crazy couple of days.
it has.
Yeah,
That's kind of what made me come outside, right? Is the
yeah.
like it was that part for me. It was everything else, I already expected, right? And the whole thing was, the fuck shit. But it was the star calling his daughter. And
I didn't even. This is the first time I heard that
well,
on your show today.
it's probably because you don't, y'all don't, because you and him ain't getting along, you don't watch him, right? Which is understandable. But yeah, Star called Triggs' daughter and said something about him, your daddy be choking bitches and your daddy be choking women and all this other stuff. And so when his daughter took her phone and, told her dad about it, she's a minor. She told
How
her
did she
dad,
get her number? Like that's so
good
weird.
question. Good question. The same way that they got any information about him. Because keep in mind, he never doxed any of these people.
No, you know what's crazy? They tried to. The old boy was trying to tell me that they was harassing his granddaughter.
And that's a lie.
That was his excuse.
But that's a lie. And
That's
TC, let me talk to you real quick, cause you a grandfather, right? I'm a
yeah,
grandmother.
of course.
If a nigga ran up on my granddaughter, what do you think I'm gonna do?
I already know, and especially if you're on arm's length of them. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Some of these people think they safe because they so far away. They
Right.
nowhere near you. They you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I told him, if that dusty ass grass cutter was anywhere near me, and he said that what he said about my granddaughter, I would have smacked the extra skin off that nigga. But he all the way in the mountains, so whatever. You know what I mean? But if
Right.
that's really what happened, right? And that was my only thing with Kip. You telling me that's really what happened, bro? You would have been at Burlington, dude.
Exactly. Your son would have been there. Somebody would have showed up.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But to each his own. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. Like, if but yeah, that's my first time hearing about them reaching out to Triggs' daughter or whatnot. And it's like, wow. You know,
Yeah. So
uh
can you understand why Triggs would want why he's now saying something, right? Like everything, if you kept it on me, you want to talk your shit about me, whatever. But now you're calling my child, my minor child. And
yeah.
then when he brought when she brought the phone to her dad, and he was like, he showed her one of Star's videos, she confirmed that was the voice she heard.
That's crazy. And you know what's I remember saying like my granddaughter, she got damn near 200K now, and I was like, nah,
Right.
I would never show or never
Nobody in
like
this
put
sector
her
that
channel out there
hell no.
because these motherfuckers is crazy.
They're
They
crazy. Yeah.
crazy.
This is the shit they do, and y'all. But like, you know, I need y'all to understand why us women are not engaging with that. You feel me? Like, what do y'all want us to do? What are we supposed to say? Maybe y'all didn't know that that's how far they've taken this.
Oh, trust me, I know how far they try. They be
Right.
trying it. Like I told Kip the other, I'm like, y'all tried me. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of stuff I ain't put out there because none of
Right.
it stuck. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But
Mhm.
they be trying. You know what I'm saying? I got letters from the state. You know what I mean? I think I told you I had a phone call from CPS. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, these people are crazy for real.
And it's so we've been up and down this highway 1,000 times with these people. It's not like we don't know already what type time they on, right? So I'm not sure why we're supposed to react like this. This is the issue. If the issue is you contacted Star, you contacted this man's daughter over the internet, man, over internet bullshit. It's not like he beat your ass. It's not like he choked you. So
This,
who
this
gives a fuck?
wow.
Who fucking cares if he is choking bitches or not? What the fuck does that got to do with you? Are you mad this nigga didn't choke you? Is that what you're mad about? Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Wow. I wonder what her response is going to be to that. Because
That's why
that's
we
some ill
wonder why
shit.
nobody said nothing about that. Because they know about this. They know. They heard that whole fucking show that Triggs did. But they conveniently left that part of it out. While they were demanding us to give an explanation for why we won't stand up to him for putting boundaries around his fucking channel. All while his child, his minor daughter, is getting phone calls from Stargate, from Tamara Brooks. But what if I called her daughter? That's why I was saying what I said. What if I call her 36-year-old daughter that she had at 14, that lives in Texas, that was raised by her dad? What if I call her and tell her some salacious bullshit about Star?
Well,
What if I call her and say Star been sucking dick every time she fucking do massages? Am I what would it be wrong for me to do that?
that's crazy.
How many
But
videos would Star do if I did that?
well, the boundary thing is funny because they practically run full time channel. You know, the other night I was causing so much ruckus. They had to do a second live, and they
I was
like
trying to
gate
get
kept
to that.
they gate kept the link. They started emailing each other the link. I'm like, I ain't going back up there anyway. But they set boundaries. You know,
Right.
old girl when she on the panel, he be having to let her know, or somebody's backstage. Women, no, I'm leaving. Like, is that not
Exactly.
boundaries?
So it's
That's
okay for
boundaries.
them to have boundaries, but as soon as Triggs puts up boundaries, it's because he's trying to control the women. Because we're all in some coalition together and we can't think for ourselves. And
Right.
this nigga
They talking out of both sides of their
is running
mouth.
every last one of us. How stupid does that shit sound?
Right. Because people set boundaries all the time here. You know.
All the time. So
So shit. They got wrenches over there too. I've been seeing a lot of people should be deleted over there.
exactly. Anti will delete something you say just simply because you say Rev G's name or you say her name. So you could say hi. You could say hi, Anti, and she block you. That's the shit they do. That's why I block them so they can't block me.
They crazy, man. Yeah, exactly.
But
Right. Exactly. I got them blocked.
don't fall down. I also don't fall down in that chat like that. Sometimes I do, depending on how stupid they sounding.
Nah,
And
I'm
sometimes I
over there
want them
just
to
to
know how dumb
agitate.
they sound.
I'll be over
Yeah,
there just to agitate. I think Mikey retired, so because he used to be like the big agitator over there. But it got to be balanced because this is how they rewrite history. They get to put out all they bullshit with no response. You know what I'm saying? But once you it just got to be pushback. And I don't take sides. I'm not taking nobody's side in this situation. But yeah, like they be out of control with they shit. So
that's what
I
I'm saying.
just
That's why, and I know y'all. I know you and speak like I've spent a lot of time with y'all, right? I fuck with y'all, and I really fuck. I really fuck with you, right?
uh
And I know y'all ain't. I know y'all don't fuck with that police shit. And I heard Speak say that last night. I gotta give him his props for that. He said, I don't condone any of this police shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't condone that. Nobody's condoning that shit. I get y'all's issues, y'all and Triggs having issues and stuff like that. What I can't get with is being asked to stand up to Triggs for standing up to normal behavior, right? For
yeah,
normal behavior.
I don't pay that no fucking mind. Hey, what you like? Nah, fuck. Why don't you at? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they be wanting because they be wanting their story regurgitated. Ain't y'all doing that enough over here though? Y'all
Yeah,
got a
y'all can talk
whole
about it all
panel.
y'all want over there. I
Yeah,
literally don't have to be part of it, but they're
y'all
mad
doxing
that
people
we
over
don't want to be
there.
part of it.
Yeah.
We don't
So
care. I don't give a fuck about that nigga background. I don't fucking care, man.
yeah, man, it's a
I don't
crazy
even care
world.
about Kip's son's background. I'm be honest. I don't give a fuck about that either.
Right,
However, that's much more egregious, right? That is actually something that is, a detriment to society, right?
right,
I know that if anything like that ever came across my camp, that nigga would be dead, right?
right.
Period.
Definitely.
But the rest of that shit, I don't give a fuck about. That's between you and your son. But you
Exactly,
also need
man.
to go talk to anti because them bitches are the ones that got your motherfucking information about your son in the sector. There you go.
Crazy.
Oh well.
Right. Well, look, it was nice speaking to you. I hope you start going
It was
live
good
more
talking to you
again.
too. Well,
You
we'll
know.
see.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I work a lot, and I just took the day off today because I just wanted to spend some time with just myself. And
Hmm.
honestly, I had already planned that, so I didn't plan to go live. I just planned to be, chilling today. But I decided to go live last night. I said I was going to do it today.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a nice morning live for y'all.
Yeah, man. We miss it, man. We miss it. But yeah,
Well,
man. You
I'm glad I
you.
was able to give y'all something. And,
Uh huh.
like I said, y'all need to, we need to be out here in prayer, even Muslims and everything. All of that comes together, right? It's all from the Holy Land. It's all in the same, from the same. There's a lot of that that's happening right now, that's spiritually led, you know, and it's all written in both books. So, and our story is in both books. So, we just need to be talking about that more and having more conversations that are more positive, and all this other, these little backbiting fights and carrying on. That shit is nonsense, man. Don't ask me to be part of that shit. I might be entertained for a second, but I'm gonna cut that shit off. I got shit to do. I got money to
Definitely.
make
Hell
and people
yeah.
to pray for. Real shit. Fuck these niggas talking about, man. When I
Right.
gotta come out, like, imagine, how y'all gotta do 5 prayers a day. Imagine me coming
Yeah.
to bother you with some bullshit during prayer. I don't want to slap the shit out of a nigga. Like, get the fuck out my face. Like, this shit, get the fuck out my face. Fuck out of here. Anyway,
Yeah,
I
they
appreciate you
crazy.
coming up, bro. All
All right, no problem. Be good.
right, you too.
All right.
All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate everybody for coming through today. We are out of here. You said disguising crazy for trolling, right? Like, you acting like I'm the biggest troll. No, you the biggest crazy in this motherfucker. Okay? Like, I ain't even gonna name no names out here. We thought it was some other people. No, it's you. Okay. We thought it was another chick down south. No, it's you. Okay. You are crazy. You are definitely crazy, sir. Okay. Like, it's the laughing, it's the evil laughs and the craziness. Like, and he thinks it's all funny. And I know his family be looking at him like they be wanting to commit his ass. Like, you said she did it. She the type to want to fit in so badly. Okay. She absolutely did that shit. She absolutely did that shit. You said you said if you call my children, they will merge me into the call so we can cuss you the fuck out. Okay. Well, that's the thing. She was probably like on like one of her Facebook or Instagram or something like that. You said, what happens if the popo shows up with an itchy trigger finger? Right, exactly. Right. Like, and the thing is he can actually call the cops on her for that shit. You said, keep her. I'm only half joking. You never know what type of police will show up, and there are too many stories of folks being shot. Exactly. Well, we're gonna go ahead and deal with them before the police. Like I said, they'll need the police for me, because I'm gonna have to fuck niggas up for shit like that. That's just it. Okay. Like, period. You gotta fight fire with fire. Okay, and that's just that. Anyway, I appreciate everybody for coming out. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button on the way out. And we are out of here, guys. I will see y'all around these streets somewhere. And yeah, peace, guys. And thank y'all again for watching.